recording?
Unfortunately, yes.
Give me a little beat.
Hello all and welcome to tonight's Whyachi Rumble. I'm Reese Ewert. I'll be doing the introductions for you tonight because it's April Fool's Day and I'm a fool. So first up we got myself, of course. I haven't had cat milk in a week. I'm dying. We have Jake Ewert in the house as well. He tied me to a tarp in a windstorm when we were kids. That was pretty fun. Dick, we have Dick Stuplick. He does not get larger when he's excited, although he does turn lowercase when it's cold out. And then we have the grandfather of Whyachis. There's not much explanation needed there. And UK fan Tom. Don't have anything for you, Tom, but you drink that up.
Is that cat piss?
And we got Tiny Hands and Trevor. They invited me to their wedding, and my crazy ex-girlfriend was the best excitement they seen that night. So,
can we tell the story or not?
Go for it.
Yes. Tell the story.
Are we sure?
Tell the story. Tell the story.
The name, just redact the name.
Redact the names. Name redacted.
So weddings in Wisconsin mean that there was an open bar. So I'll start with that. So it was totally open bar the entire evening. The Ewert clan attended. Things got into full swing. My bridesmaids were acting crazy by 9, for sure. That's true. But sort of midway in the evening, I decide that I have to go to the bathroom, which is something that needs assistance when you are in a wedding dress as big as mine. So I had my maid of honor come to help hold it. And while we were in there washing our hands, Reese's girlfriend at the time, came in, was obviously very drunk, and started to rant to me for no less than 30 minutes about how much she hates that Reese goes to BattleBots and wouldn't let me leave the bathroom. I don't remember the specifics. I was also mid to pretty drunk. But I'd be like, yeah, like, I feel you. I get you. Well, we're gonna head out of the bathroom. And at some point in time, my aunt comes into the bathroom as though she felt it on the wind. And says, "Rachel, your dad is looking for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she said it was something about paying the bar tab. So like, let's go. We're going. And I come out and she goes, "Hey, yeah, that's not true at all. It just really looked like you needed to get out of there." So we go outside towards the regular reception area instead of being in the bathroom. And she just sort of follows us out and starts insisting that she also needs to talk to my dad. We cannot find Reese. He's nowhere to be found. We later learned he was like, "I'm going to go sleep in the car right now because we're not leaving, but we're also not staying."
I was at the point where I just got to distance myself from that situation a little bit, and I went for a little nappy nap in the car.
You should have just drove home.
But she continued to, then it turned into, I'm playing defense for my dad. So she's like, "Where's your dad?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But she finds him and then spends quite a lot of time trying to convince him to go convince Reese to let her be the one that drives home.
And she was way drunker than Reese.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't know why she wanted to do that so desperately. Why she wanted to be the one to drive, or why my dad needed to convince her, or needed to convince Reese of that. And at some point in time, we all just decided that wasn't happening anymore, and we called her a cab, and we thought that the venue was going to be pissed at us for having someone so belligerent there. But later, when we were all about to leave, they came up to us and said, "Hey, you were one of the least rowdy weddings we've had here in a very long time." So I don't know what constituted like more rowdy than that. We broke a bunch of glasses. There were people that were definitely belligerent, and one woman tried to drive very drunk. And I remember the line we gave to the man was like, "Hey, can you get her a cab? Also, if she tries to drive, we're not that close to her. So if you need to call the police, do what you gotta do."
And he was like, "Okay." Here's the funny thing, though. We discussed this, and your opinion was, "Listen, this is what they do, right? You can't."
Right. I was like, you can't start a relationship with a dude who does BattleBots and then be like, "Oh, I hate that, by the way, and you have to stop now."
Well, sure, like, you can. You can tromp over somebody's dreams. I mean, it doesn't mean you're in the right.
I just said, "What did you expect, though?" And her line, I remember specifically, she was like, "I work at a bar, so when he gets home late because he's doing BattleBots, I'm just about to go to work and then we don't see each other." I was like, "Yeah, but it's A, so temporary, and B, like, you could also get a job that happens during the daytime. Like, there's a lot of things in play here that it's not, he goes to BattleBots." But
There's a lot to be said there. We're not gonna go down that rabbit hole tonight.
That's unpacking a 10 years worth of.
But
yeah, there's some stuff in there.
Reese was very apologetic, and I said, "No, it was genius. I thought it was so fun to have like a very dramatic occurrence be happening that was at my wedding but didn't involve me." So it was just sort of like I got a big blowout. It's like in Parks and Rec where that one character's dream is to have like a big dramatic horrible event happen, except for I wasn't related to it at all. It was just sort of like happening near and around me. So that was fun. It was pretty eventful.
So she got the crazy blowout story, and she was not involved in it.
Yeah, which is great. That's exactly what you want.
Well, the wedding wasn't ruined, and it was kind of a nice side story.
Yeah, a little. It was a B plot to the wedding.
This is where I pull up the wedding picture with everybody doing the tough guy pose with you in your wedding dress, but I don't know where it is. So.
Oh, the one where the team's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a great. Someone decided at my wedding to go to our place cards and write "tiny hands" on the back of it with a pen. Pretty sure it was Terry by the handwriting.
I think so.
There's a fantastic picture of it, like in black and white, that the wedding photographer took with absolutely no context. He had no idea that he should do that. He just took this very elegant photo of tiny hands in all caps and like this chicken scratch on the back of the
chicken scratch.
Terry's denying he did it.
I'm pretty sure.
We'll find that.
I'm pretty sure I seen him do it.
We'll find that picture. That picture is easy to locate.
This was at a time when Trevor Wizard wasn't part of the team too, so we could have done some dirty stuff to him.
I was not. I had not been to BattleBots yet.
Had you met them?
So
That was
So-
the first time I think I met any of the Ewards.
Mm-hmm.
Was at the wedding.
Hmm.
He
I
was
mean,
a
that was very
newbie
brief,
coming in.
that was-
High stakes.
none of them
Yeah.
gave you a talking to?
No,
no.
I don't think they talk to you at all.
I said hi. I met one of Jake's kids.
Mm. Yeah.
And like talked to his wife for a second, and then
Corbin.
like because I think that was just when we were making the rounds though.
Yeah, you don't even remember half the people you were talking to anyway.
No.
So how long you been married then? About a year and a half, right?
over
Something like that. It was August 21.
What were the
Yeah.
bets? Are we over all the bets already? I think we are.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I had 6 months.
Who are we making?
You horrible.
Wait, you said it was 7 months. I had beat you.
Bob Barker rules.
Yeah.
Tiny hands. Did you run out of eyeshadow for one eye and had to go switch to another color?
No, this is a thing I do. It's a thing I do. One color in one eye, another color in another.
Hey, Dick's got some bunny ears.
And Weasel's still not smiling.
That's a smirk. That counts.
Jake, can that shirt be the new uniform?
Oh, you want that to be?
What is it? Sharks?
It's or not octopus. The tangly things. that
Squid.
sting.
Squids?
No,
No, jellyfish.
jellyfish. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Team Jellyfish.
Yep. Tea jellyfish. Okay.
Reese doesn't get a chair.
Yeah, yeah.
He's always left out. That guy.
Back of the bus.
Look at their wedding attire, everyone. It's pretty great.
Do you expect more out of us? Come on.
Hey, those are my nice pants. Those are my nice pants I got on there.
Hey, this is Jake in khakis, man. This is Jake from State Farm right here. You got the
Hey,
best. Best of the
Jake's
best.
in shorts.
You
It was
said
August,
show
it's
up.
fine.
You didn't say how well.
That's true.
It was warm. It was warm. I think shorts is appropriate and fine. Dad changed out of his suit like 20 minutes into the reception into his regular wears everyday clothes. So he's talking a lot of shit for
Why
someone
did
who
Trevor's
shouldn't.
It was
Yeah,
hot.
as soon as the photographer left, I think he was like, "All right,
Yeah.
I'm out of here."
Mhm.
It was hot and humid,
I don't blame
raining.
What's it
Yeah,
raining?
it was raining. It did rain.
Yeah, it stopped raining like a couple hours into an hour or two into the reception, I think.
We were late to the reception because we had to go get McDonald's.
Yeah,
Naturally.
the lady at the
You can let it all go once you're married, right?
Huh?
You can let it all go once you're married, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. Exactly. We were just getting an early start to letting ourselves go.
So, Dick, what do we have on the docket for tonight exactly for the?
Well, I think we can transition. We can go from because Trevor and Rachel, they were under the gun trying to get the new hype video done for the next episode that Hydra's going to be on. So who is Hydra fighting, Jake, in the next episode?
Sawblaze, Mr. JMO himself.
Sawblaze.
If he's gonna roll back in here again and talk some trash.
We really missed an opportunity here. We should have done a video pretending like Fusion was fighting Hydra.
Oh, for April Fool's.
that would have been good.
We should have really. Oh, we missed
That would have been cool.
Let me know
We
if the
have the
audio
footage.
is. Let me know if the audio is working on this.
Yeah.
Oh,
So this is the video they were working on.
no. What's happening?
JMO better stay out of my pit next time. Devil.
You got to tell us what you're doing there, Jake.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're checking the flatness on our table so that we can get underneath paint and all that other good stuff. That's how you sharpen them. Sharpen everything by hand. And the tongue, clipper, reactor.
Oh, there he is.
JMO in his standard JMO stance, ready to fight at a moment.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
Every time.
He's like in a fighting video game. He's always like,
you're standing next to him, and then all of a sudden it's fight mode, and it's like a completely different guy.
Choose your Jameson.
Like it's Tekken.
Get your combo moves.
Right. So, the first question I guess I have for this one: who's seen this one? The Bite Force. I had just sent it to the team, right?
I'm pretty sure it's a spoof.
I would hope so, because Paul would be very.
I even messaged him like a month ago, like, "Hey, I heard you were coming back. Is that true?" And he never responded. Just blew me off.
The guy who posted it on Reddit, he sent me a private message saying, "Please remove your comment. It's just an April Fool's joke."
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. I think the top comment on that post is me saying it's an April Fool's joke, guys.
Yeah,
You know,
Paul
this-
comes back. He's not going to announce on April 1st. Just saying.
there's still people who are fooled by last year's BattleBots post about Farouk being replaced by Carmen Electra. I still see people posting about that.
Is she still alive?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, we did the.
Yeah, what's the last thing she did?
We did the
I don't
finals
know.
match last year.
BattleBots.
You guys remember that when I photoshopped me and JMO into the same picture, and I posted it, quote unquote, and then I took it down, making it think that we gave away the finals. So he's been in on the shenanigans before, because he actually had to give me one of those pictures of him. So he's been good to us on the trolling side of things.
Yeah, you could tell this is an April Fool's joke because it's talking about the improvements that BattleBots has made in paying.
Yeah. It's,
Improvement.
I want to know,
You mean the bare minimum?
is that a real post from Paul, or did somebody totally make it up? Like, did Paul do that?
I don't know. It doesn't look like he posted it, and this is a
No, he
screenshot.
didn't post it. The first thing I did was
somebody
go
just
straight on the
edited
Bite Force team page, and it wasn't there. It's way
mean, it
too
looks-
positive to be Paul Ventimiglia.
It looks
Speaking
pretty
out with
legit,
it.
though. I mean, legit would be hacking into his Facebook and actually making the post. I mean, that would be something we could probably handle.
So Carmen Electra started out as a singer in Minneapolis, where she met Prince, and that kickstarted her career, apparently. So interesting. And then the Playboy, got the whole Playboy thing.
Was she?
So you've been stalking her for a while.
No, I'm looking at the Wikipedia right now.
Oh,
She is 51 years old.
Why are you guys talking about the bike rack again? Why? We got bike rack clothes hangers people want us to come out with. Really? Come on. Okay, so Pa, question for you. What made you guys choose red, white, and black? Because you're too lazy to pick different colors?
I'm gonna say back when we got those shirts in 2001, that was probably the only style available.
Yeah.
because they kind of pop and you can see your teammates in a crowded pit area.
We're going back to the old times. Okay, you ready for that?
I mean, there was over 600 bots at those events. So yeah.
Well, it's probably to match Sal's theme, but all the bots themes throughout the seasons have been to match the team's theme. And then what was the first bot to get off of that theme? Which one had real color? Come on.
Fast Dragger.
Oh, no, that was still just steel black.
What? Red Square.
It was Red Square.
Red Scare was still red. Red,
was
white, and blue.
painted.
He's
What was the
fishing for
first bot
Hydra.
that wasn't that?
It was totally painted.
Yeah.
He's fishing for Hydra.
Yeah. Fishing for Hydra was the first one to break ranks of the team.
No. There was a blue Falcon and sporting the stout colors back in 09.
It was
White and
blue
blue.
accents. It wasn't the full team thing. Plus, the team shirts were still black.
Yeah.
The team shirts for Hydra are red, black, and white still.
Yeah, but the logo.
Well, we need to-
Yeah, the
We need
logo.
We need to get into the 21st century on the team shirt thing here.
Yeah. Somebody needs to design us new shirts. Anybody up for it?
Sleeveless,
Huh?
preferably sleeveless.
No, we're not doing sleeveless.
Reese, you
Absolutely
cut the
not.
sleeves off of your shirts when we get there anyway.
Combi
Well,
shirts.
not the
We
team,
need-
not the team shirt, pitch
No.
shirts.
No, with team shirts too. We could do.
You
Yeah,
one.
I'm
want
on-
team shirts, like pitch shirts,
Combi.
or
Those
Denim
those
on
other
the back
Wisconsin guys had them. The deadlift guys, they had sleeveless shirts.
Hey,
Why can't
why-
we have sleeveless shirts?
Yeah.
How about robes, like MMA fighters wear? They have robes, right? Or boxers?
take them off.
I think Uppercut already did that.
Reese, when are you doing shirts? Is the question. I'm gonna
What
guess
is-
a
what
fan's
is that
gonna have to make it.
What does that mean?
Like a future.
Oh,
you to
for
make it.
fusion?
Yeah.
We've been working on it. We got a design in place, actually.
You do?
Yes,
Where
we
was
do.
I when this happened?
You were gone.
Oh,
in
I leave for a
Florida.
week and you actually do a shirt? Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
because it's looking pretty nice, actually. I was gonna bring it here, but I didn't go to the shop. So
But as it gets usually between seasons, a lot of ideas are still diverging here on everything, from design to the colors to naming to individual components. We're still researching, the right speed controls. And then at some point, we got to start converging and focusing on basically the bots that we'll be bringing to the next season. So we're not to that point yet.
Why was there never a blue square to accompany a red square?
I don't think we ever started in the blue square either with red square.
They always put in the red square, so it wasn't
I
red
think
square and
so.
the blue square.
Oh, that would have been fun. Oh, let me just take this opportunity. Let's just pause here for a second and talk about how Tom knocked us off the stream twice last time. It's all his fault, right, Tom?
I resent that.
Yeah, it's
No,
not accurate.
YouTube
It's not-
specifically said it was banned audio, and you guys were doing the audio, you and Reese. It was your too good audio.
yeah,
So,
me and my
Just to let you know, your
two-stroke
stream just
engine.
got suspended for policy violations.
Yeah,
So-
it did.
Yep, I
let
see
me turn
that.
this down a little. So here's
The stream has been
what
temporarily
happened
blocked because we detected copyright.
last time when that you guys didn't see.
We didn't even play anything. That was my voice effects.
It was your sound effects. It was
I
so
was
good.
too
You
good.
admit it.
I just figured since YouTube didn't want people
Yeah,
to see
they
this,
want-
I'd edit this up so they could see it. Did it pause?
So will we get banned for watching the banned section?
Just to let you know, your stream just got suspended for policy violations.
Yeah, it did.
Yep, I see that.
Your stream has been temporarily blocked because we detected copyright audio.
We didn't even play anything. That was my voice effects.
It was your sound effects. It was so
I was
good.
too good.
Yeah, they're watching you.
So,
So-
Pa, what does Whyachi come from?
It's
Is
just
that
a made-up term.
thing?
Just a made-up term that happened in one of the sheephead games at the shop one day.
Three
Loosely
syllables.
translates into bringing somebody down hard.
3 syllables, easy to chant, unique. Add a domain name. Probably.
And every time someone says, "Hey, I love watching BattleBots. I love your team," they misspell it.
What kind of design are we looking for? I would partake this as the shirts. We're kind of open to a lot of things, but at this point, we're not really the creative types, as you can tell. So we're gonna crowdsource as much as we can from now on. I mean,
What's wrong with the Hydra shirt?
Well, nothing, but I had to put a lot of time into this, and now it's our only one thing we have. So. And Fusion gets 0 time, so it doesn't.
Yeah, why didn't you put some time into the Fusion?
Because it's not my bot. Duh. I put time into Hydra stuff.
Does he sound like a team player, folks? Does he? Does he sound like a team player?
My team. My team.
Reese, did you help make the Hydra shirt?
Ooh.
I do not sit on a computer all day with Photoshop at my disposal.
You could.
Well, I mean, we did get one team or sponsor, KO. What was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? They got technically the rights to do the artwork for Hydra and Fusion. That's where that stuff comes from currently, that we're still running. They paid us enough to give them free reign as to what the bots kind of look like. Not the overall design, but the actual paint job itself. So that's where the Hydra and Fusion comes from, if anybody ever wanted to know where that came from.
We need to get away from the burning theme.
At least on the Fusion, yeah. Fusion theme's bad. That was a horrible start. Never start that. Where did Whyu's name come from? I thought it was just because we were fat, and it's like, why? You ate one too?
It's a play on letters.
Right. Just one of those things that pop in your head once in a while. There is a new name that's been shuffled around here, though. Last
Is it
week.
mine? Is it my idea?
Yeah.
Just want to get credit, so people.
Do you want to tell the fans the debut?
No, you can. I just want the credit. You can say it.
No, go ahead. If you want it, you got to do it.
Are you saying Thunderstruck?
No, you can't use that. That's a song title. That'll get. It's not original. No.
Way to burst his bubble.
Yeah, I spent like the entire week while you were gone working on that name and
I'm
a fusion
sure you
design.
had to. I'm sure
Isn't
you
it?
had to.
Isn't it
It's like-
Piglet?
The idea of Fusion existed before. It's not like it has to be a totally brand new name, right?
Right.
Well, if it's a brand new
It's
Fusion,
a brand new
that'd be
bot.
a brand new name.
It's totally different.
It's like naming your bot Tombstone when there's like a town and a show named Tombstone.
Yeah. So be kind to Tom. What time is it for you, Tom, right now?
It's 1:30. I was going to say, you should stick with the name Piglet.
Piglet's a nice name, right? Nobody has it. Nobody wants to kill a piglet.
If
right?
it was a multi-bot, and we could go Piglet and Tigger, and then Mr. Eeyore is driving one of them.
If they're not going to
Definitely
take Thunderstruck, they're not going to take Piglet and Tigger for sure.
Wait, Winnie the Pooh became public domain.
Just the originals. So like the one without the shirt. But I don't know. I don't know if the name then is public domain.
Hey, Pat, what's new?
Hey, what's up, Terry? Where's the hat?
The what?
Where's your
Cowboy
hat?
hat.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
up here by my
Missing the
gun.
cowboy hat.
I almost bought a cowboy hat just for this, but couldn't get that on it.
Honestly, I think Dirty Deeds.
Oh,
I
Thunder.
was-
I did try that.
That's a good name.
I was
Reese.
kind of bummed the other day. I thought my DVR was recording the new Yellowstone, so false alarm. It wasn't the new one.
What's
I
up,
heard Terry was
Frogman?
crying.
You call me Frogman?
Frogman. Yeah, that's the best we could come
I
up
was
with.
just saying to Rachel, I think Dirty Deeds is a better name than Thunderstruck.
How about Bacon Maker?
I like it. I like it, but do you see this bot's whole idea is to whack downward,
Spanking the monkey.
thunderstruck the other robot's weapons.
I think you can use Thunderstruck, can't you?
I would think so.
More mythological. You go
How
like
could you
if you go
not?
like Hephaestus.
They
That's a
can't.
crazy name.
They can't. You can't own the concept of like thunder occurring. So I
Right.
find it, unless you were like running the words together, one word thunderstruck.
It could be trademarked though.
If it's trademark copyrighted, there might be an issue.
But
But
aren't trademarks specific to the thing that you're using it for? Like if you wanted to have a song called
The
Thunderstruck,
class
you'd
of
be in
goods,
trouble.
right?
Put it better.
Like the word, like Piglet
Ask
is the name of
Riptide
a
since they
winning
rip
character.
off people.
There's such a thing as a piglet. It's not like you can like copyright that word entirely.
What about Rolling Thunder?
Somebody's going to do you a favor, Pop.
That's a pretty good one.
Tell
like
them
you
to
drop
make
a
new
bomb.
Yellowstone for you.
This episode's for you.
Just for you.
Nice.
Inferno.
What's the deal with
XX.
what is the deal with the mid-season finale and then being off of TV for like 2 months? Is there going to be more to this season coming, and when?
Okay. Trevor, I got one. Somebody really, really, really wants to know. Why does Trevor only come out for Fusion and not with both bots? Honestly, for
Because he's
my
not
thing,
good
I think
enough.
he's afraid to come on my team.
what? No.
But what's
That
the real
is
reason? I
not
guess?
what happened there.
You said he wasn't on your team.
Yeah,
I
you would
remember
not
that.
allow him up there.
I think it just
And
happened.
so I took
No.
Trevor
People
under
need
my
it.
wing and said, "Come on, buddy, we're going up there."
Yeah, like, well, I mean, to be fair,
It was
What-
a
what am I really
continuity
doing?
thing, and we told them right off, if you go up there and Hydra loses, we're going to have to
It's-
pointing the finger at you. So-
it's,
There's a
hard,
little
it's harder to
super-
do the video too when I gotta be up there for 2 teams.
Yeah.
Little superstition.
Right. Yeah. I want the video guy to actually be able to video stuff, not
Yeah.
while being up there just standing with his, thumb up his ass. So.
That being said,
That's what I'm
Trevor has some pretty cool video from being up there with Reese. There's like we got a really hilarious video of Trey sitting in a folding chair just with a fire extinguisher blasting into Fusion while it's on fire, and there's a video like right up against the Lexan of that. So that's
Mhm.
That was a good one.
We gotta get the GoPros up there.
Also,
Right.
thank you, Jack Attack.
Uh-oh. Go ahead, Terry. Do it.
What is it, Terry?
What are you plugging?
I seen the question. Somebody asked
A
it.
doe bleat.
It is not a goat. It is a doe bleed for hunting. We try to bait them in with sounds.
You got to stick that in your robot.
There's a
Isn't
question
that
about.
cheating?
Every time you
There's,
flip,
there's this question about Hydra power. You guys should address this.
Lucas Grell, is that the jackpot guy?
Yeah.
Lucas, are
Yeah, we
is
can-
it?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm not looking at it
Interesting.
right now.
He's
Looking at
from
this question.
Minnesota, you know. He's a
More
Minnesotan.
power. Yes, we can get more power out of the accumulator as it sits. We can go up to 5,000 psi if we wanted to. All the stuff is rated for higher. We could actually make a smaller cylinder and use less fluid and make it technically lighter if we want higher pressure. So it's, I mean, even if it's not in the rule set, it wouldn't even matter because BattleBots just let you do it if you're safe enough with the stuff. So other people can run higher pressures as well. But for our accumulator setup, we're stuck at 3,000. But we can go up higher if necessary, which might be the next evolution of Hydra, if there's an evolution to be had.
Hey,
But
who's
didn't
got the
we-
dog barking?
That's my buddies over here with this girlfriend
Mm.
dog.
Wasn't there some discussion though about pressure and flip height at the last one where it was seemed to be flipping higher with less accumulated pressure?
It's all about keeping the flipper tip in contact. So it's possible if you have a higher pressure and you don't do the correct geometry on the flipper that you punt it, but then as it's going up higher in its stroke, you're not actually in contact with the bot putting energy into it. But when you go higher pressure, you would just change that probably. Mathematically,
So it might have been kicking it off the tip instead of throwing
right.
it.
Hit in with the bat instead of throwing it like a baseball. Yeah.
The big question for us is, do we go through the whole exercise of re-engineering the thing in 5,000 PSI, making a new frame, basically starting over from scratch?
Just to have to play the ground game again.
This did come up online. There are people suggesting that you're making these comments to leverage BattleBots to do something about the fork war. But honestly, do you think that there is something that could be done? I mean, you're going to do it, so
About what?
About the ground game and the fork and the floor problems.
Jealous? A little bit? It's not the worst that we've ever heard about.
I don't see the ground game going away anytime soon. Certain bots, certain cases, you have to play it or you're not going anywhere. So that's for sure.
Max weight Hydra can flip. Flip is underrated, but I can lift the back of a van.
Where's the truck video?
No, it flipped one. So I had this 4-wheeler sitting outside back of the shop, and they wanted to test Hydra, so they grabbed my 4-wheeler and flipped that and busted into like 3 pieces. So that was like a 500-pound 4-wheeler.
And you weren't too happy?
No, was not.
No, in slow mode, we already raised the back end of a van. I mean, it should be able to lift about 3,200 pounds. That's what the force is at the end of the tip.
Oh, there's another one. There you go.
What'd you say, 3,200?
Correct.
Yeah.
You posted these videos on the internet, right?
So, Pop, here's your explanation of mid-season breaks.
There's a writer strike too happening right now. It might be related to that.
Yeah, our writers are on strike too for this show.
Oh, Liam Neeson? Yeah, definitely. Who would be the better voiceover actor, Liam Neeson or Reese?
That'd be Luke.
He has a stronger accent.
I know where you live. I'm coming for you.
I have a very particular set of skills.
I'm going to sample that.
You gotta hype the Wisconsin accent up more. Like, do a short video where it's lines from like Taken and other Liam Neeson movies that I'm sure exist, and do them in like the most Wisconsin accent you can muster. That's a good one.
It's just me. Like I can't go more with, I guess I could. When I say Minnesota, then it gets pretty Wisconsin, but that's about as far as it goes. Hey.
Say bag.
So
Bag.
I didn't want to go down this,
At least it's
Bag.
not a UK accent.
but
How dare you?
you want to start into your AI talk there, Pa? Self-driving BattleBots?
Oh, this is a tee up.
Oh yeah, big time.
Chomp
Yeah,
was
if
self.
They are run the other way.
Chomp was self-firing, right?
No, there's a Vegas story. You don't want to tell it?
I'm thinking the self-driving BattleBots aren't going to be killing other BattleBots.
What are you saying?
We're getting into AI here.
Yeah,
It's too early for
This was the
AI.
AI tee up, man.
But
Well, last week, a lot of smart people, 1,000 of them, put out that letter that put the brakes on AI research for 6 months. Elon, Wozniak. You guys met Wozniak in 2009, right? At the BattleBots event?
Not that I remember it, but probably, yeah.
But I don't think they're going to pump the brakes on it. They might have just put that out there so they have plausible deniability when things go bad.
So this is no accumulator, right? Just a basically pressure testing the cylinder.
The accumulator's still in board. It's just I'm moving my slow mode in the up and the down.
I didn't think you had a slow mode first season.
Yeah, I have a slow mode in this one. We put it in especially for this. See how the flipper goes down so much faster?
Changing tires since we made Hydra has gotten a lot easier at the shop.
We should get on NASCAR with this thing. You know, that should be the pit buddy. Just Hydra goes out, pops up cars up quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's an idea.
So what would happen if you did that same thing, only you did a flip? It would do the same thing, only faster, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it would go up to roughly. Well, we don't know how high it would go, but it would transfer all of that energy in. So the van would come off the ground at least that far.
Yeah,
Possibly
I don't know
off
if
the tip a few inches.
I don't know if the van would lift off the flipper though.
Oh,
You'd
I
have to
see.
get
Pushing
some
with that
velocity.
high. I hear something.
What do we got? Oh, vert test.
Oh, yeah, we get this question a lot too. Is
Yeah,
the thing real?
it was a real thing for sure.
That's
And
it.
our first tests were in the shop and completely blew through the insulation with wood chunks
on
That's
the
and-
40-foot ceiling.
and a couple lights.
the ceiling that's 30 feet up.
What's this target weigh?
It's
600?
about 500-600 pounds. Big old maples.
That's the name of your new bot, Reese.
Big old.
Big
maple.
old maple.
Big old maples.
How about
You can just bring out the guns with the
I just seen a video about Paul Bunyan, something that theme, like Bunyan's axe or something like that. What do you think?
Called
No?
Bot
Bunyan.
Babe, painted blue.
Babe?
Yeah,
So we're
it's
still-
Paul Bunyan's Blue Ox.
So we're still throwing around potential
I think so.
redesigns for Fusion here. It kind of switches every day. And we don't know which direction we're going to actually end up with going into the next season. But at some point here, we got to decide.
Hey, there's my four-wheeler.
There you go. There's the
Yeah,
450
that's a
pound
500 pound four-wheeler.
So it does
Yeah.
flip more than 250s.
Press F for flipped.
Press F for flip.
So that Uttergun cow went all the way out there in the Uttergun van to Long Beach.
Mhm.
Yep. Season
Pictures
one.
of it by the
Season
Grand
one of
Canyon.
Fusion. Yep.
No, Fusion wasn't there yet. It was Sal and Hydra, and
Are you sure?
yeah,
'Cause
it was
Fusion
Sal,
was-
Hydra, and no, it was Falcon.
And
It was
Warrior.
Falcon.
Falcon, yeah.
No, not Warrior. It was Sal, Hydra, and Falcon.
Wasn't Fusion there for 1 year in Long Beach?
No. Well, it was there for 1 year in Long Beach,
Oh.
but it wasn't that year. We
The final
drove.
year.
We drove Hydra because it wasn't all the way done by shifting.
Wasn't done. Yeah.
Right.
It was a last minute thing, man.
And right before we left, someone goes,
Totally
"Hey,
untested."
It's basically a pipe bomb.
Yeah.
Don't crash." Okay.
Well, it wasn't
Thanks.
charged.
And then you made it all the way back, and what happened to the cow? Somebody popped it, right? Got flipped or something and got
I
popped.
think it was on
Yeah,
that
on the
flip.
four-wheeler flip.
Yeah.
Which kid's the most destructive, me or Eeyore?
Destroying what?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Has to be a little more
Lives,
specific, I guess.
women. What are we talking about here?
Whoa, Weasel. Weasel, we don't start there. Don't go down that road today. Back it up to the gears. Those gears, these little tiny guys are all what's running Hydra's weapon and pumping up the hydraulic fluid. Those little things, that's it.
Well, you're gonna have to say more because I'm kind of involved in this and I don't understand.
That's
It's
too tiny.
It's a gear
There's-
pump, right?
There's two tiny nuts.
It's a
Gear
gear
pump.
pump, so you have an inlet and an outlet, and each one of the pockets between the teeth, the oil goes around the outside between that and the surrounding housing, and then they are both contributing to pumping the fluid, and it comes out the outlet.
And they're just regular steel, right?
Yep, just
Correct.
a regular off-the-shelf hydraulic pump.
Except these ones, for the first one, we had to modify because the long
They
make
were-
wasn't quite powerful enough to actually spin the.
So we had to
Oh,
take
yeah.
down the displacement per revolution.
This is the old block, right?
Yep. That's the mag motor driven pump.
So did we cover that there was some talk about making the block smaller but operating at a higher pressure to save weight?
Right.
I'm kind of
Yeah,
waiting for
that's-
that.
Okay.
So
And it's
We would-
aluminum, right? It's aluminum.
If we would switch to 5,000 psi, everything could get roughly 2/3 smaller. So
more weight for more armor.
right.
Or a vert package.
Tiny Hands, you know WoW, don't you? You know anything about this WoW MDI stream? Coincidence? No? I didn't think so. No. We're out of loop on that one, sorry. Don't keep in touch. So how much
What am I
fluid is used in Hydra and Reese? Okay.
I drink about 2 gallons a day.
There's
3 ounces of
probably
cat milk,
50
1.5
cubic inches.
water. The rest is liqueur.
There's like
said
2 or
nothing about
3
nutting.
white Monster energy drinks in each of them at any given moment.
I
That-
can't
that's
drink.
Monster,
I can't
sure.
drink Monsters. I can't drink them.
Do you have a
I lear-
picture of the fill jar?
I learned that early on.
Why?
I I just go a little bit crazy.
Oh.
Yeah.
One day you'll
Are you
find a
ta-
way to make renewable Reese energy.
Yeah. Titty
All right,
pictures.
running high
Titty
on
pictures
Reese.
do it for me.
All right,
You
you're
mean
enough of that now.
Do you mean the vacuum chamber, Terry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's too early
Um,
for gun check. What about drink check? What's everybody drinking tonight? Riesel, let's start with you.
Oh.
I see. Trevor
Well,
just
unfortunately,
lurking in the
when we
background,
started this
just sipping and
stream,
drinking.
I realized I had ran out of Jack Daniels, so I reached into my reserves for some Admiral Nelson.
Ooh.
Don't hate me.
Oh.
Don't hate
That-
me. Don't hate me.
So he outranks
it's
the captain.
it's not going bad. It's not going down too bad.
Gut rot.
It's no Ron Diaz, I'll tell you
It's
what.
no Ron Diaz. Absolutely not. $7 a handle. Can't beat it. Can't beat
We
it.
were going to have a bottle of Jameson in case JMO stopped in.
We've asked plenty of times for Monster. They're not into us, even though we are like an outdoorsy sport, I guess. But
Extreme.
yeah,
Wasn't there a
extreme,
Jack
there we go.
Link's controversy?
So the volume of the hydraulic system, we have about 50 cubic inches in there, but on a shot, it's only
Of
using
fluid.
about of Monster can worth about 12 cubic inches.
Pull up now. We didn't do
Fluid
the drink
ounces.
check for everybody.
Yeah,
Wait a minute,
we're
Tom.
skipping here. We're
Yeah,
going.
Hang on.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, what do you got, Tiny Hands?
Tom is double fisting. What do you? He's got to drink in both hands. What do you got there?
Oh, he's drinking. Oh.
I
Wine
got a
and
lovely bit of cider here.
Hang on.
Bit of Rassler cider.
oh,
Yeah, but you had another glass, or was that?
That's the drink in the glass, Dad.
I'm just kind of
Oh.
alternating
Pouring
between,
it in.
oh, okay.
Like a
between
civilized
classy and out the boss.
British.
Gosh.
There you
gentleman.
go. There you go.
Classy and depression drinking. Alternating between the two.
We're
got a
on
backup cider.
Bacardi and orange soda.
There you go.
And our
Have you tried lime vodka and Mio fruit punch? No?
No.
I recommend it. I recommend it.
Is that everybody's drink check then? Where'd Dick go?
Who else is drinking?
I'm fresh out from the last one.
Mhm.
I can prove it.
Where's the shine?
No more moonshine?
I got
Get all
no.
of shine.
I got no moonshine.
Oh.
Dad, we're coming home. Make moonshine that we can bring back.
You've got till the end
We're
of
All
hard
right.
to clean it up.
Till the end
I
of
was
June.
I was just through Atlanta. That place sucks to drive through. It took me like
Yeah,
3
it's-
hours to get through it.
It can be rough. It can be rough.
And I went through
And
it like
then-
6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and till 9 o'clock that we got to the other side and actually got out of some traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's any accidents, it's like that's it. It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
The accidents
the-
are
even-
people falling.
I mean, when I was through there a few weeks back, I mean, even the cops can't get through. They got their lights and sirens on, and they're
Oh, yeah.
sitting right
People are trying
aside
to
you.
get out.
yeah. They're not shitty drivers. There's just a lot of them.
There's
It's
just
not
so
like
many.
Chicago where everyone's like
A butthole.
the worst.
Mm-hmm. All right, Pa. How come we don't make things out of tungsten? Well, one, you really can't machine on it too great, right?
Kind of expensive.
That too, yeah.
Probably a little brittle.
So as you can see, Dick has his eating face on.
So you can't see him chew.
Yeah.
You can. It's just Donkey's face chewing.
Okay,
That person in chat's got
this
the right
guy.
idea. Vodka gummy bears, someone says.
That does sound good.
No.
Okay, one for you. You take it away.
Well, they kind of got forced into it
I mean, we do work for the business, and
because
we're all doing it
that's
together.
what we do. So, I mean, the actual competition, you know, even though it's 2 weeks long, I mean, there's a small percentage of, you know, what we're dealing with every day. So, on our own things and on customer jobs.
Oh, here
Jake-
we go. Yeah. What do you got?
I've seen a couple questions that are in a similar boat where people are, they're like, so you can essentially change your whole front package on like Hydra, for example. You can do forks, you can do the little wedges, whatever, but you can't do the cow catcher. Is like the people are wondering what is sort of the difference there, and like what.
The difference in weights? Well, you rip
No,
off
I
all
think
the
it's more like, why are you allowed to do one and not the other?
Oh, well, the
That's
one
like-
was banned because it's corralling. It's against the unofficial rules. But that style for the cow catcher should be used more often by verts in general. They should take off their armor packages and put 2 sticks out from like either side of their spinners. That way it works like a cow catcher, but they actually have a weapon still on front. That'd be really good.
We had a weapon.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
yeah,
worked.
we just didn't have to use it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is like, I think people thought that you couldn't flip with Hydra with the cow catcher on, but that's not accurate.
It would have just been very difficult to actually get a good flip on them. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you
the
would have
flipper
done it,
worked
right?
before the match. It's not like
There's
we
still-
gutted it to
There's
put this
still
on.
people today saying we're cheaters because of it. It's still,
Well-
it was allowed then, and it's still allowed right now.
Well, we got Tom. Tom is a fan. I want brutal honesty here, Tom. The
Okay.
cow
Give it to me
catcher-
straight.
You're gonna
Brutal
get
honesty,
penalized.
but don't be too mean.
No, you can be mean.
I'm just
Yeah, be
kidding.
mean. Yes, this is your one time.
What did
Otherwise
you
you're
think of the Hydra and huge fight?
Pussy.
It didn't outrage me at all. I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was hilarious. You, Jake, just anytime the camera went on to you, yep, that's endgame right there, buddy. That's the best impression I can do of you. I'm sorry, but
Oh, that's pretty good.
No.
It still has to be driven
As-
perfectly to work. You know,
yeah, your driving was impeccable. And as a UK Robot Wars fan, we've had things like that before where people put frames on and whatnot. So no, I thought it was great. All power to you for doing it. I encourage
Well,
it more.
and obviously, you know, we didn't fire the weapon in that match because there really wasn't that many opportunities where the wheel was right over the
How
weapon.
good of a flip can you get
But
on huge
obviously,
anyway?
you can't even get in the box without an active weapon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell my perspective on this. The attachment was built before the event. If you're a good builder, you're going to anticipate your competition and have the most effective strategy against them. If you looked at huge versus every other flipper, which is the mode that you should do, they destroyed everyone. They destroyed Lucky. They destroyed Sub-Zero.
Bronco.
They destroyed Bronco. Yeah, and they brag about it. Flipping doesn't hurt us. You can't hurt us by flipping.
They're the unflippable bot.
They've said the other quote that they've said is we've wrecked every attachment anybody's ever tried to use. So I saw this thing well before the event. And then at the event, your opponents weren't set up like they are now, where you know the 4 opponents. right? So they came around and they were kind of like, okay, you're going to fight Huge. Well, we know from that event that's not a set in stone thing, because Shredderator, I think, or Gigabyte got a fight switch. Shredderator, kind of said, this fight's going to suck. It's going to be terrible. You sure you want to have this fight? Right. And so they switched it, right? Which is fine. And so they came over and said, what are you going to do? And we had the attachment out on the table. Like, everybody saw it. The whole venue had seen it.
Yeah.
This is the day before the fight, too. And we said, yeah, we're going to put this on. And if it works, this is going to be a terrible, boring fight. Maybe, switch some opponents around. It's up to you. And they said, oh, we hate it. We hate it. And so then they left. And I assume they went and talked to Huge. And then they came back, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's great. Love it. Let's do it. And you have to assume that they talked to Huge and they were like, oh, forget it. Don't worry about it. We'll just wreck them. Because
what were you giving the odds when you seen it at the shop of that thing working?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh God, this is a great conversation. We were alone the night before the fight, Dad and I, and he was like, I give this like a 5% chance, and that 5 is incredibly contingent perfectly and us hitting them with the hammer.
I think it was probably lower
I'm not
than
running
that.
the hammer. I'm not going to do it. But yeah, he gave very, very low odds. We were incredibly stressed before. We were trying not to show it because, like, we don't want to add to that.
Well, there was a strong that was of winning the fight. There was a strong possibility that you fight the perfect fight and still lose on the judges' scorecards because we don't get the hammer strike. It came down to getting them in that corner, forcing them to escape, which the judges were trying to keep you from forcing them to do. You can't see it very well from there, but that was our corner. We could see it. Huge had enough room to leave via the hammer. They weren't pinned. Jake wasn't touching them. They could escape if they tried. But what they wanted to do was they wanted to complain about it. And then Jake gets told to do something that is not in the rules. He argues with them, which is fair, in my opinion. A lot of people said, well, it's because he argued with the ref. You never argue with the ref. Well, if the ref says, hey, put your controller down and go strangle to death the driver of the other bot, I think you should say, nah, I'm good, dude. I'm not going to do that.
Right. Well, and I loved the comments from people being like, you never argue with the ref. I wanted someone to do a supercut of, like, soccer players. I believe a ref was murdered for a soccer call. So, like, oh, you don't argue with the ref.
How close was that ref? Well, how close was that ref to the action?
Yeah.
Kitty corner across the box.
Oftentimes we try to put it in the perspective of like boxing, some other sort of fighting sport.
Yeah.
And if you can try to find like a correlation there, like a sort of one-to-one sort of analogy, then a lot of times you think about it and you're like, okay, well, it seems fine. Like as soon as you start just talking through it, it just kind of makes sense. Like you said, it wasn't illegal, so to speak, just because you hated it. It's fine to hate it.
Well, they didn't hate it.
That's one thing.
They only hated it when it worked.
No, I mean like as like a fan, but like
Yeah.
just don't pretend like it was like cheating. They allowed it. BattleBots saw
And that's
it.
the thing. Nobody expected it to actually work because anybody walking up to that thing looking at it, so like, what the fuck is that? No way is that going to work.
And shortly after the fight, I do feel a little bad for rolling this hard, but shortly after the fight, someone from Huge 2 was like, oh, there was nothing we could do. And I was like, well, you don't really weren't around very much. We were constantly, we were doing, Dad and I were doing metaler stuff like the entire time, just waiting for a response.
Slots on the edges.
What are they going to respond with? Slots so that they can notch in and still hit us. Like, what are they going to respond with? And every time we went over, their pit was empty and Huge was just in there. There's a couple of pictures
they weren't worried.
of me right
They
next
weren't
to
worried.
battery or right next to Huge in their pits, outside of their table. Like, we don't cross that threshold, but just right there, and they're just completely absentee. They're not concerned at all. It only became a problem when it worked. They thought they were going to destroy it. That's clear.
We were becoming concerned that they were so not concerned. Right, we were
We
taking
like, do they have a
photos.
second huge? We started
Yeah.
looking for a second huge that they had modified to prepare for this attachment, and just none was produced. They just rolled in with the same huge that has always destroyed attachments, and didn't destroy this one, and then it was a problem.
Well, I prefer the idea of just making the chain just tick the floor.
A
If they
chain.
could've- Yeah,
Yeah.
If their chain would have just ticked the floor, it would have just ticked that bar. And that bar was like nothing special, right? It was just
16 gauge steel.
if you put it in a vise, you could just bend it, right, with your
Oh,
hand
you could
Yeah.
have bent it by hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
over your knee.
You literally
Yeah,
couldn't like
definitely.
lean on it, or you didn't want to touch it. It was so flimsy.
So the Hydra vert was in response to what half of the fans thought of that rack.
Mhm.
So, okay, next time we go against Huge, we'll try something different. We'll go back to our roots that ripped the shit out of other people. How do you like that?
And then they knew about it, and then they didn't give you huge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also
No
just, like,
rematch.
It's no fun to sort of kill the sport of innovation. I mean, that's a
Right.
big part of BattleBots is like how do you kill the unkillable? And if you can't,
So,
if they just ban everything, then what's the fun? What's the
so
point?
you can innovate and bring a huge bot, but their opponents can't innovate.
Yeah,
Right. Well, with this comment, I think so. So he was very adamant online that, like, there wasn't something to be done. I really get the impression based on his response that perhaps he had pitched the idea that they do something to respond to the bike rack, and maybe that was not taken on board.
Thanks for bringing that up, Speedy. That was
He was very
still a little sore for me.
He
My
was
ass
super
still
upset.
hurts. So
If only we would have started upside down.
Rachel, didn't you have some sort of run-in with Don on the Facebooks?
Yeah. So that's the thread. That
When doesn't she have run-ins with other teams, though?
It's only been two, Jake. It's only been two, and it's when it's beyond the pale, and I can't hold it back. But yeah, he was like, we didn't have time to do anything. So I said, hey, every time we went by, it was just sitting there. It was hours. It was announced the day before. Like, there was time. It was like, no, we were working on it the whole time. So I just responded by posting pictures of me with huge, with no one around, and being like, yeah, I don't think that's true.
We had so many pictures of us holding a phone
A
with
time.
a time on it,
yeah.
standing next to
Honestly,
huge.
lucky I was not there that season with the video camera.
Yeah, there was a lot. There's a picture of me like
The edits
in
would have
my.
been brutal,
This is
probably.
COVID season, so I've got my little mask on. I'm crouching by huge. It was so long. We got multiple pictures. I was like, hey, wait, let me try this pose. Let me do this. It was like it was a mini photo shoot for like probably 10-15 minutes. Where it was just
You're
sitting
like
back.
you're like
Yeah, I'm like crouching by huge.
Doesn't
I'm
Tiny Hands
so
remind you of Ginger?
Me?
no, no, she doesn't.
The only other person I started on was for the exact same reason. Someone in Ribot's camp, someone who was on Ribot's side for that count out, and the wedge welding incident started saying that you were cheating. And I was like, hey, that's just not true. Once again, they proved that alteration to Hydra after the lot. Like, they 100% BattleBots said, you are good to do that. And she was like, well, I was there, honey. And I was like, yes, also me. I was also present. I was also present for that. And I know why you shouldn't be saying that they're cheating, because they're not. Those were the two times that I ever took to Facebook. It was just, I was beyond the pale. That was not happening.
So is the Ribot getting yelled at story a little too hot still for?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's a little spicy.
It's deep. It's deep though.
It's a deep cut.
I'd like to find the video of it.
Don't play the video.
Don't play the video?
We have cameras in our pits. A large part of that is that one season Jake did have something stolen out of the pits. We were like, well, we're not going to let that happen. We didn't even have concerns that things were going to get stolen until a GoPro got taken. And that's not nothing. So we do have cameras in the pits. That's where the pit pass cameras come from, which I think are genius. But we do have pretty compelling documentation that Ribot was told in no uncertain terms to leave us alone when we were making modifications before the fight.
There was an F word included. Leave them the F alone.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. And they were told, do this every time. You have to stop. You have to stop doing this.
By Pete.
Delayed productions. You've delayed for important periods of time, like large periods of time. Just stop. Mind your own business. Tend your own fence. They're doing what they are totally allowed to do, and bothering them is not cool. Meddling it.
I think they pulled Pete from filming. That was why he was so hot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to stop the show for him to come yell at them. And then it was actually really funny because I went over to their pits. I visited their pits twice, which is very unusual for me. But once Hydra figures out what its configuration is and we're settled on it, there's no reason to really get too involved in doing drive-bys, I call them. So the second time was I just went over and I wanted to talk to them about the modifications. We're putting some springs in, and I think I had the spring in my hand, and I mean I was over there just to see what they're doing, honestly. But they said, "Oh, I don't think you can put those springs in." So that's when I really got fired up. Jake was they were implying that we couldn't put springs under the fingers,
In a standard package.
let alone not welding, just springs. So I said, well, we're going to have to talk to somebody. And they said, well, you can get Aaron. And I said, well, maybe you're the ones who are going to have to, deal with this.
Luke. They wanted Luke, the safety guy.
They wanted Luke.
Mm-hmm.
So
the safety dude.
So they went and got Luke and brought him over the pits. And Luke is like, well, I don't know what this has anything to do with me. So then they got Pete over and wasn't too happy.
Speaking of configurations, we do have a Minotaur attachment that we can use. We're kind of getting one set for each bot kind of done, right, folks? Eventually we'll have a horizontal. just ixnay the flipper altogether.
Well, you have the tombstone stopper, which you used on Gigabyte, right?
No, did not use those against Gigabyte.
The tombstone stopper?
Yeah, didn't put those out.
What's the huge plow?
The huge plow is just the plow.
Oh.
The tombstone stopper are the little yellow guys.
Oh, the little triangles, the pyramids.
The pyramids.
Oh, I don't think I've seen those. So they're like pontoons, like outriggers.
Yeah, they just sit out on a stick, and he can just hit them, and then they chunk in.
Poke them with the stick.
Oh, bar bumpers.
Bar bumpers. So he hits that, and then he should go flying. Yummy.
I mean, Jake, what's your what do you think would be one of the most challenging sort of matchups? Do you think
the hardest one? I mean, it would have been huge prior to the bike rack.
Well, you already proved that you could counter that. So
Okay, but round 2 of Hydra Huge, what the fuck are you gonna do?
Bots are going to
because there's only so many I guess generic kind of types. There's sort of grabbers, there's flippers, lifters.
It's going to be a speedy boy probably.
Yeah, Claw Viper's a menace.
Yeah.
That's a tough beat.
Or somebody who's really good at corralling people, and like Sawblaze coming up next
this year. I was so surprised.
Right?
Yeah.
He's so intense.
Well, I think this is upcoming, but Sawblaze is a big problem. They have. I remember one of the first BattleBots I went to. We were sitting on the couches, we were watching fights, and I said, "Hey, whose soul, or who did JMO sell his soul to get those forks to work so good?"
Mm-hmm.
They get into everybody.
Yeah.
That combined with an overhead situation.
Yeah.
For attack.
Hydra's not set
That's a big problem.
For top attacks.
The overhead strike is extremely dangerous.
Overhead strike, just such unbeatable little scoopers.
Which is why we did make a new
Simple
kind of top
attachment
armor.
for Sawblaze.
We take off the front armor, and then we just kind of put a little bit of armor over top of the tanks, just back of where the flipper nose is.
Can
So
we
it's
see
kind
it?
of, kind of up above.
You can hardly see it on the bottom.
There might be some pictures Trevor has on the server, but
There's
For the
it's
Sawblaze
in the
fight?
video. There's like a plate that's attached in the hype video when you're working on the wedgelets.
Oh,
that you
on
can
those
see.
on the corners, you're saying?
corner pods, yeah.
The front corners, yeah. Dude, that was you tasked me with putting new vinyl on those little like plates. I've never felt stupider than trying to put those on, because it was so stretchy, but I'm trying to do it without like ripping it, and like I don't know why, but it was just like kicking my ass.
Well, and I know I did the vinyl at one point, and I was like, God, this looks like shit. And Jacob looked at it for 1 second and like looked confused, and then just took the little heat gun to it, and it like shrink wrapped to it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm so effing dumb. I was like trying to like make little relief cuts to get it to stick down, and
This is
he just came up and heated it, and I was like,
this is one of the most fun
Okay.
parts about being on the team is like a lot of times, Jake or Reese will be like, do this thing, and I'll just kind of start, and I'll 9 times out of 10, if I've never done it before, I'll start it and I'll just go, well, I should not have been given this task. So I have to go back, and I have to ask, and then you explain it, or you just do it and you make it look like like it was so easy. And a lot of times I feel ridiculous that I couldn't have figured that out, but it's very cool because it's just like little
things that are
even little
obvious
stupid stuff
to
like
you
learning how
that
to
are
do the
not obvious
vinyl
to us.
like effectively. Like I don't know, it's just cool. It's I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, wheel pressing took me like a lot of time to
Yeah, I'm the
even come close to being able to do when
I was-
someone just
I was
hands
Jake's
me
wheel
and
bitch this
says,
year.
hey, like replace these wheels, press new wheels. We're like, okay. For a while that was not going well, and Jake would like just watch me do it and be like, no. Step in.
You got it eventually.
You're
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. It's just there are certain things that like to you guys are so clear and obvious, and you tell us do it because to you that makes sense.
Yeah, I
And
like
then
the
we get to it
challenge.
and we're like, how?
Is this Jameson?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was looking at the
He's over there sneaking up at the armor.
Just out of frame, just after this clip ends, he just snaps his head to Trevor, and
Can you-
like you can see him smiling through the mask.
Can you mouse over the armor panel?
You
That
can, yeah,
little
you can
thing. Yeah,
barely
that new
see it.
the new purple, the lighter purple. That's the new armor package. It's just on the top corner. The whole back is still exposed, but a little bit of the front corner, if he gets a corralling moment, hopefully would take a hit. But it still is only 3/16 AR, so it's not like it's super thick.
If they're hitting
Yeah, yeah.
past that, they're
No,
on the
it's
flipper.
it's not on that shot, Dick.
Yeah, that's the.
That was from the bot shot, so we didn't see it there.
There was some shots where it wasn't vinyl yet. There it is.
Yeah, right there.
This is it right here, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I had to cover, and it was like look at the shape of it. I mean, it's not like a very intuitive shape. So I was like sitting there, I'm like, I can't mess this up. Jake's gonna yell at me. So it's like I'm like sitting there trying to get it right, and like he's like, "Come on, are we ready for the fight?" I'm like, "I'm going, dude. All right." But it's fun. I mean, it's no fun if there is no pressure. So,
And there was pressure.
what's funny is the pressure is just like to make it look nice. The bot was ready.
Yeah.
We just had to get it going, and we had to take it to safety and all that stuff. So
Yeah, you can see that. You can see that in the pit pass video on Team Whyachi's YouTube channel.
There's a good
The
one.
pit pass
In the
video,
light.
Dave gets there.
Yeah, it's got
He
the
worked
only good piece of vinyl on the bot. I mean,
that's not the one I did.
The bot's vinyl looks really
I did.
fresh.
I did the one on the other side. This one was already done, I think.
Right,
I mean,
but what
this
Terry's
is-
get
This
what
was
Terry's
like
getting at
been
is-
patched like 6 times already.
Yeah.
Over the last 2
Yeah.
seasons.
I was using the new vinyl too. It was like very stretchy.
Yeah, that
Um,
vinyl's different. Mhm.
I think it was the stuff that Bunny had helped us out with.
Well,
But
look at
even
all the
in-
purple pops on it compared to the old stuff.
Yeah, it's way brighter.
I did lighten it up a little bit on the new stuff, so the purple would pop more and kind of match the front end that I have for powder coat colors. So
yeah.
it was a matching game.
It's
Eventually,
interesting though, 'cause
bot
the
will have.
HYD is cut off there too.
Well,
Even
that's
the-
on.
Yeah, whose job was that, huh?
No,
I think-
it's
I think
on later
Whyachi-
on.
Oh, somebody
It's
got it later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even the-
it's on during the fight. We did manage that. I
Demo
don't.
looks so intense. Look at his smile. Look at that guy.
Even the beauty shots of Hydra this season are it all like scuffed
Well, actually,
Yeah.
this video, when you see JMO looking at it, it's on there.
Yep. Just out of frame, the star of the show, flashy hands.
Yeah, there it is.
There.
Ooh,
Yeah, looks
how,
good.
how about Hydra with Shatter Omni wheels? How do you think that would go over?
Ooh,
I mean, do you even need them? You're already very good at like sort of like
yeah, you
pivoting.
turn on a
Well,
dime. dude.
They'd complain that I'd never, drive sideways. I'd always be facing my front towards them again.
Right,
They'd still
but
complain.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you could drive sideways, then you could drive over the cracks.
That's true.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh,
the correct direction.
That's compelling.
It is
Yep.
compelling.
So much
So,
practice made on that though, because Adam, first year he brought it, was like, yeah, it's trouble to drive.
Does Reese
Actually,
know
what I
emotion?
do with my opponents is I go up, I give them a big kiss. I say, "I love you.
Right on the mouth.
Get ready for this."
He gets a big handful of ass right on the mouth.
Yep. Give
Yeah.
them a little
Yeah.
spanking.
Give a little good
spanking.
game.
Creep them out with your cat milk?
So it was painted the first time, and it was beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
Pete,
Hand
Pete
painted.
do it, hand painted it.
Yep. Yep. Hand
but
pinstriped.
It was
So
so hard to maintain that color changing paint, right?
Yep.
And now
Yeah.
when you repair something, you take off the patch of vinyl where you're going to be heating things up and do your repair, and you put another piece back on it. It's fairly simple.
I do
This-
like an exposed weld though. It looks like a little battle scar action. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Chicks
Mhm.
But
boots
it is more
Yep.
intimidating for Hydra to go into every fight looking pristine. That's got to be a mind game.
I mean, it looks pretty beat up. No,
I mean, from afar, it looks totally the same. Like the scuff marks actually come off with the lacquer thinner. Like the I don't know how it happens like that, but there's like these like scuffs. It must be people like driving over you, but there's this like black grit
Yeah,
that gets on
it's
top
their
of it.
wheels. Mhm.
And you can just lacquer thinner that right off the vinyl, and it's good as new in that spot then.
Yeah.
What would
we
you
have
guys
been-
do for a fight? What would you guys do for a fight against Starchild, who is like huge and Sawblaze combined, big and awkward, you can't really flip, and can hit you from above?
vert.
For
Yeah, still vert, so
Yeah.
we can reach the body.
it'd be a lot easier too because they have to reverse to fire because their weapon is really done by torque of the wheels. So to swing over, they have to reverse. So you're gonna get your first hit.
You're gonna get a good hit on them for sure before their weapon would have a chance of hitting you.
So you had the vert with you.
Oh, it's always with us now. Yeah, we gotta
Okay.
carry it all the time.
Does Reese tell them to bite the pillow because he's going in dry?
boo.
I love that comment personally.
We've talked to you about reading ahead on the comments.
Yes, you cannot do that. But that goes with this one.
It was so good. You gotta wait. Give it 2 hours. 2 hours. I'll be out of here. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, the Cheshire Cat look on the front with the big grin, and technically it's on the butt too. The big grin. I really like that on the bot. It gives it a little character. And the
Oh,
extra
God.
eyes.
At one point in time, Hydra had one gold piano key.
The pimp tooth.
So his smile had one gold tooth. I thought that was amazing.
That was
And
a
I
Pete's
got
idea.
mad, and I was so upset. Well, all the hype videos have like very sort of like gangster inspired beats very frequently unless it's like very epic and awesome, like a
Oh my
movie
God.
trailer.
There was one we wanted to use today, and we just the footage wasn't right for it.
Right.
It was just like it was absolutely filthy.
But I love the idea that Hydra's like a thug. Like you don't want to meet him in an alley kind of thug.
Gangster Hydra, huh?
Yeah. Would have loved that. Bring back the one gold tooth.
Okay.
Jake, you should just wear a fake gold tooth for all your fights.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not wearing grills.
No, we're not doing costumes
Well-
and characters and
You guys are no fun.
Make a bling necklace out of wedgelets.
That's what I'm saying.
hey, that's cool. Honestly, if small enough pieces from your opponent, just like a little like wearing the spoils of war, just chunks from your opponents.
You should actually make a mini Hydra piano key necklace.
Be sick.
You could powder coat some scraps, like spoils of war, kind of Mad Max type deal.
Yeah. Full Mad Max situation.
So I'm just gonna put this on in the background. This is this week's fights. We got any?
Hey, Trev, sounds like she's kind of attracted to the thug.
No.
Who do you think I am?
I've almost got Trevor in enough bar fights to know he can handle himself.
Last night?
No. Tonight? We'll see where the night takes us.
We'll see what happens.
Maybe
at the
I'll get
basement.
mad that someone steals a chair, and I'll talk
Where are you
about
heading
it
tonight?
Trevor feels like he has to fight them.
Dude, yeah, that's the Rachel and her friend Maddie. There's been a number of times where I have to stop. I have to stop the conversation. Like, don't make me fight this person.
This 6'2"
Because I
frat
have
boy,
to.
please.
You know, I can't not.
All right, let's get the. There's one where some woman was like being abused or something, and
Oh, there was an event where it was a sort of joint party between this like frat group and this sorority group, and there was one frat guy who was going around being a total menace and creep. He was so drunk, he was just being gross to all the girls, Rachel included. And then at one point, Rachel's friend, I'm gonna skip some of the steps so we don't get too detailed. But at one point, Rachel's friend Manny gets in front of this dude and it's just like, leave this girl alone. And he's like, or what? And she's 5'2", I think, and this guy's like 6'3", and she just looks up at him and she's like, or else we're gonna square up. And she like gets up in his face. I literally had to grab her and like move her away. I'm like, oh no, don't get me looped into this, because I'm standing right there seeing it all go down. And if this guy tries to hurt Maddie, I mean, I have to end his whole career. So,
situation.
like, I can't. I just like, it's just not fair.
But the
And he might have destroyed me. He was massive.
the
And very
headline
drunk.
Anybody
of
would
that
destroy
story, though, the headline of that story is that frat boy got booted from the party, and all of his frat boy bros were like, oh, well, I guess we can't be there then because one friend who was being a creep isn't allowed in. So they moved the whole party to their frat house, and the party ended. The women who were hosting the party were like, well, I guess we have to go there because, like, what are we going to do without terrible creeps at our party? So they left. And Maddie and I, the entire walk back to our apartment, are just like, oh, I hope something terrible happens to them. Oh, they suck so much. Oh my God, they're so awful. And the frat house burnt down that night.
Wow.
To the, yes,
And where the fuck was
Burnt
Maddie between
down.
the hours of 1 and 2?
yeah, Maddie did it.
We did it psychically.
Yeah,
We participated.
I think Maddie's more
Right.
of a to be honest.
That Zippo lit itself and dropped itself on the
No,
haystack
what we
out back.
what we think happened was that someone was doing an illicit material and lit something on fire at the party, smoking some sort of
Illicit materials.
weed.
I like how you've even got the alibi figured out. Like, no, those guys were smoking weed next to gas cans over there. Like, that must have been it.
We had 15 people who were not interested in going to the frat house at our home. Fun fact about the Milwaukee frat community, it's the only frat house left. It was the only frat house left at the time because the other one was shut down for having, and this is a quote from the news article, barrels of date rape drugs. So the frats in Milwaukee are not great, and I'm glad.
Well, that's a
it was
little
burnt down.
speculative. What's a barrel? What's a barrel?
I don't know. I didn't know the
I would
material
assume
either.
like a big
55 gallons?
Yeah,
35?
I genuinely believe that to be.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Like a bottle is a concerning amount. To have a barrel is insane.
It was a TKE frat that got shut down.
Yeah.
How many times did you go there?
Never. We never set foot in a frat house. That being said, I did have a friend when I had started college who went to Madison, and she joined a sorority, and I was in a TKE house in Madison, and that was also not fantastic.
Sounds like we're exposing a collegiate conspiracy going on here.
Yeah, it's almost like frats are the worst part of the college system, apart from the grand theft on the middle class.
So you're saying these guys need to drug their dates to mate with them?
Correct.
Yeah, I'd never expect that from frat guys. They're so nice.
Yeah, they're so well.
They're so nice.
And they handle themselves so
Careful.
beautifully under the impression of alcohol. They just, when they're under the influence, they're the kindest gentlemen ever. And they never ever try to accost you while your boyfriend's in the bathroom.
I'm
Never.
hoping Hydra parts aren't on eBay because that means I got wrecked.
No Hydra parts on eBay.
Never. Hopefully not. Speaking of parts on eBay, did anybody watch Robert's video on him buying Fusion's vert?
No.
Oh, there's little something going on with that one.
Here's my
Yeah,
question, Reese. How does he get like 5,000 viewers on that video? Shouldn't you have made a packing up my vert video and sniped all those videos?
Probably, yeah. Hey, I'm sending this out to Robert Cohen. Here we go.
Here's the measurements. Here's what it weighs.
Take everything that he could possibly do and put it in my own video. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I like his videos when he did the Saw arm a few years ago. That was pretty good.
Yeah, he's definitely helping out the team. If you look at it that way, he's getting parts, getting a little money influx into us, and not only that, but he's doing the videos about the team, which then gets our team maybe more views. So thank you, Robert.
The controversy is when some dipshit who will remain unnamed posted the rotors to eBay, he messed up the pictures and put down. You got to point down, Tiny Hands.
Down.
Well, Jake's not pointing down. It looks like he was pointing at us.
I'm pointing over, down and
It
over.
was me. It was me. I put the wrong pictures to the wrong description, and so Robert texted me. He's like, "Hey man, like an hour before this auction ended. Hey man, you got the right pictures up there? Because I got pictures after Fusion, and it doesn't look like that." And so I went back and looked at it. I'm like, "Holy fuck!" And I texted him. I'm pretty sure I texted, "Holy fuck! Thank you for finding this." Yeah, they're opposite of each other there. So
you sent out something to a super fan who noticed your error.
So
immediately.
Robert, here's where it gets tricky. Robert got the right one because I was texting him, and I was supposed to text the other people too and tell them, "Hey, I fucked this up royally," and send them some extra stuff, which I did. I gave him a shaft, and I think I gave him some t-shirts and shit.
Give him the shaft.
Gave him the shaft, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
I gave him the shaft, literally the Fusion vert shaft. No, Trevor, you get what's smaller than a shaft.
Hey,
You get
Weasel, we got a special one for you here.
Yeah, we got to pay some attention to Logan.
Yes, definitely.
What is
Logan's
that?
gonna get some here. He sent the super sticker.
He wants to know about your OnlyFans.
He wants to know about Reese's OnlyFans.
She.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, let's be serious here. You do have a OnlyFans, right? It's not a joke.
I do. There is currently 0 content on it. But it was supposed to be targeted towards like robot porn. So for my upcoming fight, I don't even know if I can say who's against, but we're not going to go there. But for, let's say, my upcoming fight, I would post something like, wow, look at this shaft. How do you think it's going to do against whoever? And then do some post-fight robot porn. You know, like, oh, he really got to my something.
OnlyFans doesn't have to be like naughty.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And then, yeah, you know, I'd throw my cock pics up there too. So.
Hey.
Oh,
I didn't know you owned roosters.
Rooster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chickens. Come on.
Roosters.
Well, that will help with this next
Like
question.
Key West.
What is the most expensive bot to maintain during the event?
Fusion.
Yeah.
100%.
By far. Hydra doesn't get ripped apart enough
What
to
was that?
need fixing.
Hey, Fusion doesn't get ripped apart either. It blows itself up. So there's a difference. There's a difference.
True. hmm Well, thank you, Logan, again.
Are you saying those other
Yes.
meanies never did anything to you?
Much appreciated, Logan.
Oh,
Um,
on a part of that, we do have a Sao one. So Sao was also fairly expensive, but that's because of the time necessary, not necessarily.
Yeah, but my
parts.
work is cheap, so I had to grind the arms out like every fight so we could re-weld them.
And the paint. Yeah.
But that, you know, my work's pretty cheap. I do minimum wage, so it's all good.
Okay, we're not even gonna put that one up there. Oh, Gen Tornado, you getting dirty now. Oh,
Yeah,
here we go. Funny one. They're gonna stab you in the back here, Weasel. Here you go. So, hey, Reese.
What the sound?
No, I'll read it to you. I don't want to sound rude, but what the hell is wrong with that armor? Basically, just gave a free giant catch point around the perimeter fusion. Very foolish.
Yes. So what I wanted to do for that fight was take the vert off because it wasn't going to do anything. Go with our heavy horizontal and extra armor on top. But nobody listens to me, so we got what we got, and we got to live with it. And it still could have worked if I wasn't a piece of shit driver. So
Yeah, he said it. He said it, folks. It's true now.
Why didn't you just like totally win that fight, Reese? What are you doing?
Hey, it's never too late.
So
Trevor.
I actually, so they pay me, you know, when it's rigged like that, they pay me good $6,000 to throw that fight, and so I just tried to like make it seem like it. I mean, you can look at Tiny Hands after the fight. She's just like laughing, like, "Wow, Reese, you did a great job throwing that fight.
yeah, fantastic.
Fantastic."
Yeah, really good. Good stuff.
How was the horizontal not sharp?
Was the horizontal sharp?
It was razor sharp and angled backwards, reverse bevel, so it would grab the wheel and pull it back into itself, but it didn't really stay running long enough for that to come into effect. I mean, there was really only like one hit on their wheel.
So when we finally get Fusion actually working, we're gonna have to like put a self-destruct button in there.
Yeah.
Like smoke machine or something.
Yeah,
Make it look
smoke
like with Fusion.
bomb. Yep.
That would actually be pretty funny. Is
Or at the
Yeah.
end of the fight, you just hit the smoke bomb every time.
feigning a fire?
It's actually a strategy. Like if you're semi win in the fight, go in front of the other team in their driving station. Let off your smoke bomb so they can't see shit for the rest of the fight, and then go out and you're like free reign, right?
Yeah, but
Like-
how do you see?
Well, I can still see. You go to their side, let the smoke bomb off.
So technically, there's a rule against this, Reese.
Yeah,
Yeah,
smoke
blur
machine, right?
goggles on.
Put it. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
flashing
using
lights.
goggles.
Well, sorry, it's uncontrollable. It just happens every fight.
It already does now. So what's the
Yeah, it's part of the bot's design. I can't help it. It just blows up.
Mhm.
I am just kind of here all the time.
Reese,
You just
All
shows
the
up.
time.
Reese, I told you that people love drunk Reese, and you should not be drinking for free. You should force them
That's
to give
right.
you
That's right.
$2 a drink or something.
ooh.
You just give it away.
Five.
Just-
At this point, I'm like, I don't know, 4 or 5 down, 4 or 5.
You just give away the good stuff, though. You're,
Well, yeah.
you're like a slut. You need to be more
I
like
send
a whore.
dick pics for free normally.
That doesn't help the OnlyFans, does it?
Did you hear me though, Reese?
Ooh.
Reese, you need to stop being a
Whoa,
slut.
hold on. Why are you charging
I'm
me $10
sorry.
a
I'm a
dick?
whore. I can't help it.
Oh,
No,
you
the
charge
whore
Trevor
does
but
it for
nobody
money.
Yeah, this is
Whore-
bullshit.
The whore does it for money. You do it for free.
For fun.
I'm getting ripped
Oh,
off.
that's true.
Oh,
All
there we
right.
go.
We're gonna trust Reese for a gun check.
Logan again. Oh, yeah. I actually I stumbled into my studio here earlier today, like just making sure everything's good to go. And I just looked at myself, what the fuck? There's fucking guns everywhere.
You just figured that out or what? That you have guns?
Oh,
Whoa,
my classic.
watch
My
your
classic.
thing. Whoa, geez,
My classic.
geez.
this is my little peep. This is my little peepee.
Tom's got his UK gun.
Tom's
Classic
It brings out the
UK butcher
cleaver.
knife.
Yeah.
Good job.
I brought a
Yeah.
machete today.
Yeah. Knife
He was all
check.
prepared.
Anybody
Knife
got a
check.
knife?
That's how I
I got
shave.
a pick.
Tom's got his
pink
knife check in
accent
UK.
Glock.
No.
Oh,
He's
genius.
just shaving, you know? He's just,
That's how I shave.
yeah.
That's pink boy.
Hey, who told you? Who told you about the crayon in the engraving trick?
I think it
Was
was
that-
you, maybe. I don't know.
Was that me? Yeah, I think that was
Hey,
me.
Reese
Okay.
goes, I think that was me.
hit your lights. You got lights for this jig.
Oh, I do have lights. Ah, no, it's okay. I don't want to do lights.
This is for when I really want to spread butter on crumpets.
A salt crumpet bread butter.
Exactly. This is
spreader.
what I really want.
What
to
I
put
like
butter on
about
something.
this little Ruger here is it fits in my back pocket. So even with the extended magazine, 8 rounds. 8.
Is it 9mm?
Yeah. Single stack. Fits right in your pocket.
So, Reese, do you want to talk about your love life here at all on the stream?
No.
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 Not for free.
No.
Not for
No.
free. That's
Love it.
OnlyFans.
The grind. And
That's a big no. Big no, 10-4 on that one.
So no updates from Texas.
We're not going to talk about that. We just went through that. So, next subject? What's the next subject? What's the next
Are
subject?
there any
Okay, we
trips planned?
Yeah, you going to Texas?
Do you have any trips? Any trips
I
planned?
might go to Texas. I don't know.
You know what? We still missed one though. So throughout all of that, let's
Hey,
get this
Tiny
back
Hands.
up in-
Did anybody happen to stop in by in the last couple of days?
Huh?
Anybody
What?
stop in and say hi by you? The last couple of
My-
days?
My mom and my grandpa came by for a little stopperoonie between.
Nobody with a Hydra shirt?
No. Did someone in a Hydra shirt stalk me?
Wait, what's going on?
What?
Well, it went through Atlanta area.
Oh no.
Research.
Could they
I
have
was-
stalked? Sure. We would have been lovely hosts.
I was waiting for you to call us and be like, hey, We need a place to crash.
Oh, what are we talking about?
Terry, I thought.
Oh.
I thought they
That
were
was
coming.
months ago.
I thought they were coming by.
It's February.
Oh.
Does he
It's
have
like you just drive
something
right
else?
through Atlanta.
Yeah, you just
Oh.
wave out the window and I just know.
Now I missed
Yeah, it's
all
a very
the good
small city.
stats. We got to go back and find it because there's some good ones in here. Okay, so Weasel, you started
I think
something bad, and now you're gonna pay for it. $5 for
here.
Oh yeah.
Is that the
I'm
second
on.
one? Is that the second one?
This is the first one that I.
This
seen.
one came in after
Ah.
I said, no, you haven't done this one yet.
Nope, you have not.
This one came in after I
He is
said
gonna get his money's worth.
you shouldn't be drinking for free.
You can't disappoint.
Yeah.
Well, no, my only concern is I thought there was a first one where I still owe that.
No first.
I
one.
guess you
No?
gotta do two.
Well, yeah, then just do two. What's
Oh
the big deal?
no.
All right, we're gonna bust out. We're gonna bust
Doesn't go
out the
down until you
Everclear.
do it. So
Hit
thank
up
you,
the Admiral.
Tyler,
Call the
for
Admiral.
causing
Admiral's
more
Admiral's
investigation.
Admiral has left the harbor. Right? He gone.
Okay.
So
What do you-
what do
what
we
do you
got
got?
in stash here? Bourbon? Is bourbon acceptable? I don't know about that.
It's your call. I mean, you're the one doing the shot.
acceptable.
Mmm. Mmm. We're gonna go
I
with
think you
some.
should down the whole thing for that $50 one.
We're gonna go with some lemon
He wasn't
Bacardi.
taking part in that beforehand.
Brand new, folks. Brand new. Listen to it.
So, you guys going clubbing
Good one,
tonight?
too.
You guys are dressed up like, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to the
Wow.
We're
basement.
going to the basement in Atlanta for 80s night.
Uh huh.
Oh, another 80s night. Nice.
We've previously met some BattleBots fans there.
Oh,
By that I mean
sweet.
I get drunk and I ask people if they've seen
Never
BattleBots.
seen
No,
it.
but
Yeah, you gotta put it out
the
there
first time we ever went, there was a guy who was like, "Oh my god, I love BattleBots," and they were talking about it for I don't know, like a good hour.
You know what the problem is? They don't recognize the shorts.
Yeah, you gotta
I
go
don't
in the
have- I don't
shorts.
have the tiny shorts, so
You have to go.
I
with
don't
the
get
shorts.
the I don't get the star treatment.
So somebody's gonna sell their husband for Weasel. Apparently.
David Norris. I believe that's Kathy's husband. She bought two of the fusion teeth recently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much is he worth?
20 bucks for a handy, 30 for a blowy.
Wait,
Straight taken down.
hold on. I wasn't paying attention. I don't want her to repeat it though, but
Oh, you want me to repeat it? So
no,
I said,
no,
We'll have to do this one next stream for you. You have to ask for it then.
no. People will not be pointing their guns.
Reese is not married, so
Tyler,
you're well.
the 80s
go
clothes
get
He's
her.
married to the job.
Billy,
I don't know why.
Billy, I'm not married, but I feel like Billy's a guy. So
He's like, I could be
do-
compelled.
I do have to
you
draw
ever-
the line
you
somewhere.
ever seen Chuck and
Sorry,
Larry?
Billy. Sorry, Billy.
You could
Chuck
be
and Larry, yeah.
Reese and Billy.
Mhm.
He's a goat.
uh-oh, Reese, here's another one.
Oh,
Hmm.
Harry.
A shot, and for him to be reminded about what he did to Aegis and make him feel bad again.
I
can't believe you did that to
Fuck
Aegis.
you.
Yeah, why would
Fuck
you?
you.
I just found some
Oh,
Aegis
man.
stuff.
Fuck you. I'm gonna take 2 shots and say fuck you.
Ooh, terrible.
Them big words.
Is that 100,000 or just 1,000? Because that'd be pretty cheap. I mean,
Looks
Weasel
like
probably did that.
10,000.
10,000.
I'm
That would be
much
like a
cheap,
night with
David.
you.
I'm much cheaper than that.
You buy him some Wahlburgers and all.
Oh,
That's it.
He,
oh, it's so lemony. It's
So-
gross.
So we're gonna have to pimp Weasel out next bots, and just when he's there, we'll just have to do like fan invites, like $500 a night, spend the night with.
I think I'm done with the buy a shot thing. This is not going well. I got nothing left.
Ooh.
I got disgusting
It's only 9. It's not even 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Central.
So lemony.
You can mix it. Why don't you just make a mixture?
Straight Jack Daniels. We're talking. I got no Jack
It's
Daniels,
possible.
folks.
Someone get the man some Daniels.
I'm crying. I'm literally crying. That was that disgusting.
Just
So
thinking about the Aegis fight.
yeah, I guess I do feel bad.
Yeah,
I
what are you
guess I
doing
do
under
feel
20?
bad. The good news is I bought him a hooker when they got back to the hotel room.
Boo.
Did he accept it?
Oh, Dick, we
Yeah.
got a special one for you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, I just made you a moderator. I don't know why I did that, but remove. Aha. Okay, much better. So, Tiny Hands, what are you smoking? Because people keep seeing it.
Smoking
No.
the herb.
It's a vape.
Smoking the herb.
Certainly not.
Smoking the herb,
Certainly
man.
And Dick, somebody spotted your keyboard, Dick. They want to
It's an
know.
Elfbar.
Oh, my IBM, a classic IBM Model M.
Hmm.
Does it click?
Yeah, it's
Barely can hear that.
look, no Windows key.
Weasel, she said 10 grand for a night with Reese. Can I just ship her and forget about it?
As long as I
someone's
can
got to
wear
pay for shipping back.
as long as I can wear rubber, and that's it. Those are my only.
Is it
Those are
one
my
way?
Only demands?
only demands.
We will get around to making people mods as the time emerges. I just clicked the wrong button. Keeping 3 chat straight is not fun. Step 1. Oh, wait, we got a fun one. Here we go, Weasel.
Hey, somebody knows the buckling spring.
Mm-hmm. How to get Reese to show emotion. Step 1. Provide lemon Bacardi. Was that your choice, by the way?
I was mixing it with Mio until I fucking ran out of that. So
Okay. Step 2. Pay $5. Step 3. Piss him off and watch it go down.
Reese has 3 emotions. It's neutral,
horny.
silly goose, or horny. Yeah, those are the 3.
And which one is he at bots most of the time?
Horny mostly.
Silly goose.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Trevor
It is
knows.
silly goose.
Trevor knows the downside of my horniness. Let me just throw that out there.
It's
It
silly
has put a
goose
strain on my
territory.
marriage.
We have gotten a couple of videos that we have titled for use in clips for clips used later called Reese Silly Goose.
I think we have a clip of you saying, "I'm a silly goose."
I also think we may or may not have a clip of you saying, "I'm a pretty birthday princess."
Yeah. I might
No,
have
I
been
don't
drunk.
think- I
I
don't
might have
think
been
we
drunk
got
then. There's a good chance I was drunk then. So.
Oh yeah,
It was Builder Party.
there's a really funny video where it was during the Village Party. You're like, you started to say something. You're like, hold on, and you like take a long drink and finish your beer. And then like,
To
okay.
compose myself, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Pond. The pond.
You know, he does have a pond that he could go
He does have a pond.
The man-made
Mhm.
pond.
Maybe we'll have to set up a stream at the
And-
pond.
And
oh, the pond. The pond's that's a cool subject. Never been talked about.
Nobody knows about it.
It's a lake.
We don't
there's
want
3
to. We
pair
don't
of
want to.
geese.
We don't want to zoom down on the map, do we?
On Tom's house?
There's 3 pair of geese
No.
at the pond right now, waiting for the ice to get up.
Yes, we just got more snow, so we're
No,
still
probably not. Probably not. There are some fucking psychopaths out there.
But nobody lives at the pond.
They're coming for you.
I do, Dick. Well, now
Not
now
yet.
you made me tell them that I live there
In the underground bunker.
in the bunker with my
Yeah,
guns
I think
and 600 pounds of spam.
Weed farm.
Mm-hmm. Cocaine.
Underground weed farm.
Yeah.
I drove.
And
Or
it's-
was part of the driving party that drove from Florida yesterday and got back to Wisconsin this morning at like 11. So we went through like the tornadoes and the weather and the snow this morning, and yeah, it was great fun.
It's bad. I will say it's bad luck for an Ewert to travel. Okay, because you know what happened when the old guy was traveling the last time through that area. Pretty sure it was what was it? Bloxy? Was Bloxy? Is that what it was? No.
No, there was a tornado through Kentucky. Kate is Kentucky.
Like the really bad one, like a year ago.
Pretty much just always an acid just after we move someplace.
Yeah.
So in 04, there was Katrina, like right after we left the state.
Mm-hmm.
First year of BattleBots in San Bernardino? No. Vallejo.
Treasure Island?
Vallejo.
Oh, the Reba. Yeah.
Yeah. Biggest earthquake on record they had there was while we were there. And
sure
yeah,
about that?
just some Yep. That's what Google told me, at least.
Well, they're always right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly when it comes to stuff like that.
I have a Facebook comment, and he says Reese's mic sounds 100 times better than everyone else's. What's up? Okay, so we're gonna go to the chat.
It's not the microphone.
Might be his volume.
It's my beautiful, rich voice.
So which mic? Is there a mic that's bad?
It's probably I got a sock, so this is a sock.
He's so cheap. He's got
This is a sock.
for his wind cover.
This is a sock.
You should have used
and
wool.
it works. By the way,
It's a radio voice. Huh? We have to get
used sock.
Used house soap.
No.
Yeah, it's used. It's used so I don't get that close. Because every time I get that close, I'm like, get right out of there. Get right out of there. It's actually not. It's not used.
He uses the same method on me when we're at BattleBots.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Trevor, want to play a game of Touch the Sock?
Don't let your cat see that. It'll become a toy.
Pink's not showing very much aggression.
Reese's volume is higher than everyone else's. Okay.
Dick, are you sure you can be showing this? This is
Unreleased fight footage.
Unfiltered BattleBots content.
Yeah.
We're gonna get copyright strike. Listen,
Not copyright. This would be a straight ban.
I will say, big shout out to Bryce Farrell on Doomba for setting this up.
You could see one of these Doombas still has the little wiper brush on it, still going. It's like actually cleaning the arena.
Cleaning the arena.
Oh, the
Like the batteries, shit itself out.
This is during the builders party. The builders were like playing Roomba fights.
I think at one point they did a few runs of this, and I think at one point they put in the little
I gotta piss.
Yeah,
right.
That's what the fun we have at builders parties. We have Roomba fights.
And then they sent everybody back in to work on their bots. Like that was a good idea.
Yeah,
They
everybody
serve us
gets
alcohol.
drunk and then go work on your bots. Yeah.
They serve us
some good videos
alcohol,
of Reese at that time.
and then what's that?
I said there's some good videos of Reese after the party.
That's too
Feels
much
like
on Dick camera. That's too much. It's Dick and a cat
What have I done?
in the same picture. It's Dick and a cat in the same picture.
She's sleeping.
Hey, UK Tom, anything new in the UK?
What was that, Terry?
Anything new in the UK?
Not really. Same old UK, same old Fucked up government. Same old.
You guys
How's things in Wisconsin?
get any? You guys get any news over there of the U.S. news at all? Keep track of what we're doing.
Kind of. I mean, it's kind of a competition between our countries to see who can sort of be the worst at the moment. I'm not sure who's winning at the moment.
There's a.
What do you think?
I think they're going to be putting a bill forth soon here to make English the official language of the U.S. But you think we should call it English or American? Because it's not exactly the same, is it?
No, you sodomized it.
Hey.
It's not worse than Cockney.
Hey, are you drinking beer out of a wine glass? Somebody
Jordy, just an
No, I'm drinking-
incomprehensible accent.
Yeah.
I'm drinking cider out
You're
of a
acting
goblet.
like we're the only ones who ruined English.
Slightly
The
out of
English
a
ruined
goblet.
English
Is that
for
close
for
enough
themselves, all right?
as
It's-
beer out of a wine glass? I think it's
It's
pretty close.
it's cider. What
Cider.
is cider though? It's alcoholic, right? There's alcohol in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dad, we
I was gonna.
Big Brother to know that when the housemates get cider, they get.
It's the cheapest alcohol.
It's all I had at my disposal, but I was going to say I'm quite lucky. I don't really have much of an accent, but you're right, Tiny Hands. For such a tiny nation, there's like a million varieties of accent. Each
Yeah,
one
you are
getting
right.
more and more annoying as you go further north.
Yeah. The
Fuck
closer you
them.
get to Scotland, Ireland, etc., the
Yeah,
more
the further
incomprehensible.
north you go, the more annoying it gets.
Hmm. So at least Tiny Hands is still with us this time. Where'd you go last stream? What exactly
fun.
happened?
I lost count of drink and poured more drinks. Got sick a little bit, and then went to bed.
I warned her.
He did warn me,
She was pouring another one. I said, "Don't do that."
and I said, "No, it's still my second one."
And that was
not
literally
true.
the one that did her in. So
Yeah. But I have to keep it level headed because we're still leaving this stream to go to a bar.
Uh-oh, JMO, he's been cited.
Bring his ass in here.
Yeah.
It's been 5 months since I talked
He
to
doesn't
Jamie.
want any part of this.
Yes, he does. Jameson, fucking go.
We were just talking trash about you.
JMO!
does he go?
Jimbo!
JMO, go.
No, Jameson, don't go. Get in here.
Oh,
JMO, no. JMO, no.
Jameson, this is your mother speaking. Get your ass in here.
I don't think that's the right accent.
Female? This is all right.
This is
We're
not a race.
not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
Oh boy.
Where's
This is
the
after-
picture of me passed out?
Yeah, where's all
At the
cups
party.
stacked on him?
Oh, this
Oh,
can't.
okay.
This, we can't
Yeah.
read that on there.
Yeah.
That's the rest, everybody. Oh,
The,
yeah.
funny-
The rest.
the funniest part of this video is she's saying happy birthday, and it just cuts to Reese, and he just goes, "Well, thanks everyone for joining in." Literally, no one else said a word.
I got the volume. Hang on.
Thanks everybody else for joining. We just all watched.
Yeah, way to not make it weird. Let fucking Catherine go by herself there. That was awful nice, yeah.
She's a hoot, though.
I mean, she went
He's
all
a
out.
hoot.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, she went for it.
She's really getting into it.
No one else saying happy birthday to you, so like more power to
Yeah,
you.
I
Like,
wasn't gonna.
No,
0%.
Trevor made me a steak though. Trevor
True.
made me a steak.
True.
That was hard to beat.
I did. I think it was undercooked.
the birthday steak. It was not
No,
undercooked. You tried
no,
it. Great.
no.
The burger-
Yeah, I gave you guys half of it because I felt guilty about it.
The burgers were undercooked. I think. I think that's what it was.
The burgers weren't undercooked. The burgers were
Okay,
amazing.
full story. So Reese was on some sort of only protein, right?
You got to change your. camera.
I call it the caveman diet.
And
I can only
so,
eat what a caveman can eat.
So we were told by the home team, his mother and father, to go get him a cake. And we're out getting a cake, and I think Rachel says, "Why are we getting a cake? He's not going to eat this cake." So then I was like, "Well, how about a birthday steak instead of a birthday cake?" And then we're like, "Well, how are we going to cook it in the pits?" So we bought the cheapest electric skillet, plastic forks and knives, steaks, plural.
Mm-hmm.
And we cooked him up a steak, and it was pretty good. And then we were like, "No, you eat it. And then he's like, "Well, what fun is it if I don't share my? I'd share my birthday cake, so I'm going to share my birthday steak."
It was great.
I think there's video.
It was good.
There's
It was
birthday
really
steak
good.
video. Yeah, there's some slow mo of him like eating it.
It was like some steak and like some shirts or something.
Yeah, I think he made it for his OnlyFans. Steak eating almost.
You couldn't
Mhm.
grill it over the bot.
I think JMO's lurking in here trying to figure out the secret for next week's match. What do you think? Anybody else? He's lurking. He wants in. He's tantalized by it.
He popped in to notice the cat and then left.
Well, he said something about the cat?
Yeah, his comment just said cat.
And he's
it's
gone.
true. There is a cat.
He's gone. It's too much for him.
Tom, how's the ciders coming? It's like 2:00 there right now.
3.
3? Oh, wow.
3:00.
But it's going well.
I don't know how to
It's
make a
going well,
poll. Does anybody know how to make a poll? Weasel, don't give me your poll.
Somebody
Somewhat
knows how.
alarming. I just was like,
Just ask chat.
Is
They'll tell you
alarming
how
the
to make a
word?
poll. You probably got to go to YouTube directly to do it.
I don't want to do that. We do have $2 for us to make a Discord tonight. I don't really know why.
What is that? Is that like Google?
There's
What
only
is
one
that?
of us that's even on Discord.
I was on Discord for a brief moment.
That's just one more thing that we got to try to keep up with. You guys don't even take care of the Facebook as it is.
Yeah.
Weasel should
I did
just
some
have-
admin for you.
Well,
I made the
no.
Reddit
So
post.
my Discord experience was somebody was trying to scam me, and so I said, "Fuck you! I'm gonna scam you." And so I played it out. I got their apps. They're like, "You got to get this app," and then when I got that app, they're like, "Oh, you got to get Discord." So I got Discord, and I sent them a random dick picture, and then they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Now I'm gonna send this to everybody you know." And they proceeded to show me, like, "Oh, we're sending this to UW Stout and everybody else that you're Facebook friends with." And I was like, just laughing at them, like, "What the fuck? This is very amusing to me." And so I did scam the scammer for their time, because that's what's precious to them. If they're wasting time, they're wasting money.
Yes, JMO, show yourself. Or maybe we'll get you next week after the fight. How about that? Make a deal with that? What do you think? Next week, Saturday, Friday? We'll make it work. We'll get our schedule for you.
How does somebody so awesome as Jameson Go have time to watch our
Come in here and
shenanigans?
mess with us? Yeah.
Yeah.
just had time for one.
Because yeah.
Shouldn't he be
cat.
out like fighting? Shouldn't he be out like fighting crime as an anime character? Or
Yeah,
something?
probably looking for skylights with the Jameson Go sign on them. Yeah,
The bat light of JMO.
Right, he's in between solving like
the cat light, right?
Time.
Because he said cat, the cat light.
Well, but Tiny Hands and I are gonna head out shortly here.
Oh, figures.
Where are you going?
Leaving us high and dry.
We're going to the basement.
We were
Literally
gonna
your
do
basement.
We were gonna go
What do
2
you hope
hours
to
tonight.
happen there?
What?
too
She's
many
gonna
questions. at once.
dance.
Oh, well.
We're gonna dance to some 80s music.
You're gonna dance?
Yeah. Both of us.
Jameson Go, is that for real? Because I was gonna watch Shrek.
He's probably
That's so bizarre.
What's up, donkey?
I ran out of shit to watch, so I was
I
gonna
I
fucking
have-
Shrek.
If you haven't watched the new Puss in Boots, it rules. It's
Oh.
absolutely
Very good.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it should have won Best Animated.
Shocking.
Yeah.
No, I don't agree. It's
Feature. No,
Pinocchio.
no, Pinocchio can.
No,
okay, that's right off.
Mm.
Yes.
Did you watch?
Yes.
Did you watch D&D? Did you
No,
watch D&D? No.
No.
I want to watch. I want to see John Wick, the new John Wick.
4. Yeah.
Oh, JMO's in here. We got a question for you, JMO. Go ahead and take this one.
JMO, pop in.
How do you feel about your fight next week being hyped up during this week's episode? I don't think it's ever been done before that they've actually talked about future fights.
Has
So,
JMO seen the hype video?
Either they had super lame fights this week that we haven't even gone over yet, and they needed some good filler because JMO's really good for TV. I'm not.
This
JMO.
episode
No,
was kind of lame.
JMO. If I had to,
But it's definitely weird to have to try to live up to not only the Facebook hype that's going to come the week beforehand, but actually in the episode. I don't think they've ever done it before though, so it's definitely going to be different. You're probably right, David. I'm hoping so at least, right?
Well, let's run a hype video.
Oh, we already did that once, and twice, 3 times.
JMO, get your butt in here. Get your butt in here.
Oh no, next week.
Why is there rotator in this?
I don't know.
It's
Okay.
all 3 of the previous fights.
JMO's thinking about it, okay? Thinking
Okay.
about it. Let's see if he'll grace us with his presence.
Do you have a way to contact him
Where?
with the link?
I don't see him contacting us at all.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend.
That sexy son of a bitch.
See Jameson go.
I enjoy the tough guy shots of Jake just shaking his head. You don't know what he's shaking his head at. He's just not happy with
Just-
whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably something about putting the Hydra vert on.
Jameson!
He probably saw the camera.
Jameson, if you want a hat next year, you're going to get your ass in here.
He might. He might.
What? I think we're too far off the rails to be bringing in it.
We can
Superstar
dial
like
it
that.
back. I can.
You
I'm
can't
sober.
dial it back at
I-
this point. no.
Let me
Chat
get
took
some
care of
water
you.
in me. Here we go. Sober. Reese back in check.
BattleBots update. Yes, we do read BattleBots update. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Definitely. He's
Absolutely.
That guy he's great.
Look at this. Look at Jameson in this picture.
He's dancing. He's up there ready to fight, man.
Dun,
Dude,
Anytime.
he's-
He's
He's got the tension in his body. He's
He's
got to
he's
release
ready.
it.
Mm-hmm. Ease that tension out of there, baby. Come on now.
That's a Street Fighter
You don't want locked legs. I mean, I stretch up before.
Gotta ease that tension out of there.
Yeah, we
Same way I milk cats. You gotta milk Jameson.
I wonder if he actually did the power stance for his green screen thing. I don't know if I've seen that one from him yet.
So, like,
He's got like I remember
Yeah.
there's like one where
Probably.
He
They really Will has some really good green screen ones, but that's because he's like got the finger points and the silly stuff. And when they're doing it for you, your mind goes blank on what you should do, which is how I ended up with a kick.
Oh, come on. That's hilarious.
Well, it
Kick
turned out
was
to be
good.
really good, yeah. But like, they should have purposely built like things for you to do, or just a
Well, they-
reminder. Hey, you
yeah.
do this or this or this.
They got show writers. I mean, where are they when you need them?
Mm-hmm. Mr. Eeyore, why'd you? what'd you do?
Wasn't me. Somebody else did that. I just confirmed it.
It just said
I confirmed
automatically
it.
held for review.
I confirmed it.
Oh,
Somebody
okay.
else did that.
All right. Jameson Street Fighter pose. Yeah, he gets into definitely a power stance. Well, if we're on long enough, he might join us.
I want to know. I want to know the nuts and bolts about Sawblaze. So Jameson, get your ass on here.
We should
Well-
just like buy stuff from him and put it in.
I don't
our
think
box.
bullying them's going to work, Reese.
I would say
Jameson, I love you.
Uh-oh.
I love
Oh my
you.
God.
No.
Oh, he joined.
All right.
Welcome,
let's-
Pat.
There he is. The man,
The myth.
the
Come on.
myth, the
What's up?
legend, Jameson, go.
I am.
Everybody.
I am real.
He's not a robot. He is not a robot.
I cannot believe you would waste your time with this kind of shenanigans.
I mean, this kind of shenanigans is the best. So I think
Exactly.
it's well spent.
Yes.
I mean, look at what he put for his name there. He's hot stuff, man.
Hot stuff.
Jameson,
many
how much weight do you have in your frame?
How much weight do we have in our frame? Oh, it's pretty light. It's got to be like 30, 40 pounds.
Really?
Not much.
It's really light.
Which is where you can get all the armor packages from.
Yeah, so we get hit anywhere else, it sucks. But I would just watch Witch Doctor S6. Like they just kind of hit us once, and it just blew the whole frame rail in half. So the whole back piece.
I would have figured more. But you know what? We've been admiring your drive pods for quite some time now.
At least a few weeks.
I don't know. I saw another team that had some. They're using these TP power motors, and they had all these robots, and they put a ton of power into a small package. And I was like, I think that they're onto the right thing. Between. Well, actually, there's multiple teams. I was talking about you guys, but I'm thinking about actually Tantrum did use those too. So,
but you couldn't leave well enough alone. You had to make all new end blocks for the motors.
Oh yeah. I mean, nothing fits in that bot, so we have to change a lot of things to make it all work every season. So, are
you using the stock Hall effect sensors that came with the motors into your new blocks?
No.
Different ones.
Yeah, we did our own sensor setup. So we tried to do that with the Hall effects, but there's you don't get the resolution to really resolve the position. So it just you can't see. I told my teammate
so you're using encoders.
Yeah, we're using encoders. So teammate Aaron, who's new for this season, so you may have seen him in the background. I told him, I want this to drive like a beetle weight. And he said, okay. And he just ran off with it. And it's fantastic.
So when are you going to start selling them?
Well, I've been saying this for years that we should have modular pods similar to what you got going, but you got them mastered pretty well. I mean, it's a piece of art what you got there.
First, thank you. I got distracted by this
little text.
Yeah, this little text here.
They're rooting for you. They're on our stream, but they're rooting for you. It's bullshit. I tell you.
What you need to do is you need to pay us money to intentionally lose.
$60,000.
Since it's so live. Yeah.
I gotta get my favorite hat, you see.
Otter gun. Yes. Yes.
All right, now we're ready for
this.
Goes well.
Jameson, you have earned yourself a new cat, buddy. What do you want? What do you want?
I don't know. You have Otter gun in a different style, or the team?
We have beanies.
Oh,
yeah.
That'd be pretty sick. I don't have a beanie actually.
All right.
What were you guys talking about before I got in here? You guys were talking about the green screen stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they recorded all sorts of stuff. I always tell them, the production guys, they have a good time with me because I do my own moves. I do my own stunts. So it's like you put a mic in front of someone's face and they're just gonna fill it with words, right? So they just all right, you're standing there. Go do something. So I do literally almost everything under the sun. So they're like, I'll do the fighter pose to the left, to the right. And I'm like, how about I can do like a jump kick? You guys want to see that? And they're like, can you? So I'm doing like martial arts in front of this green screen, and I don't know if they're going to use it because I'm pretty sure I leave the frame a bunch. But
are you trained? Are you trained in martial arts?
It's been a long time, but.
Yeah. Well, we know they have one of me jumping, so hopefully they do like a side by side.
Probably use them together, yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
When did slash and burn first come into it?
I don't know. It's just kind of thinking about something other than just doing what most first year teams that like they're just kind of getting used to it. They just kind of stand there and it's like I need to do something. Actually, so that maneuver, I actually blame Jason from the Thor team in Robot Wars because he had this thing where you go like this. I'm like,
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, he's always like that.
Instead of this, I'm like, now we're on to something. And slash and burn is actually an agriculture.
It works.
term.
It works. Yeah.
You doing any other events before the next BattleBots?
I don't know. We'll see. Any of you guys planning on going to Norwalk? You guys should go to Norwalk.
I heard it's a fun time.
Yeah. I know at least one of you guys watches it, right?
Yeah, it's me. I watch it occasionally. Yeah,
Mhm.
in the stream. Got to make my side pits like you did here. Mhm.
Was there an original version of Sawblaze that had an actual saw blade?
Oh yeah, the season 2 one that is often forgotten about. That was season 2 and season 3 were actually a diamond saw. Season 2 we actually debuted a blade from our sponsor called the Bullet Blade. It was actually a carbide tooth chainsaw wrapped around a high-speed steel hoop. And I mean, lo and behold, if the chain breaks, the whole row of teeth comes off at roughly some 200 miles an hour at tip speed, and it kind of destroys everything.
Yeah.
So,
You still running a mag motor, running an arm?
yes.
Because it's reliable.
Yeah, it does well. I mean, we thought about going brushless on that. We did a brushless test session one time, and it didn't have the oomph that we were looking for, and so we were like a little scared that it's a really important subsystem for the robot. It does the self-righting, it does the weapon delivery. It's been working really well. We've actually been using the exact same motor for, let's say, like the past 3 seasons or something.
For drive.
Pretty nutty. No,
Right.
the arm. That
okay.
specifically, not the type, the exact same one. We just changed the brushes out. It runs like, I don't know, 10% of like a fight, so it barely gets any runtime.
How many saw blazes can you put together at one time?
2, maybe.
Do you have two? You have 2 frames?
We can put it together. We actually got called out by some of the safety crew when we were doing the inspections because this year if you have spares, they check each one of them, right? You guys had spare robots, so you had to do that. We only had one Sawblaze, and one of the safety guys is like, "Oh, that's awfully cocky of you," and we're just like, we just don't have 2 robots built up. I think we'll build one up later, maybe, but I don't know. We put all our love into one machine. And well, I'm sure we'll regret it if we ever up against the wall like that. But
yeah, if you're doing a deep run in the bounties, where you might have to fight like 3 or 4 times in a day, that might come back to haunt you. But generally, you want to locate all of your work into one thing. Right, unless you're Paul Ventimiglia and you have excess time in abundancy and you can work on your 3rd frame, your 4th frame.
Yeah, sure would be nice. Yeah, have that many people on the pit crew too. But you have a pretty good pit crew when you come back from a fight, right?
Oh yeah,
you break those bots down like a long ways.
We've got a pretty good pit crew. I mean, we have a lot of people, but I think each one of those folks is, they're rock stars. I think we also benefit from the fact we've got a billet frame, right? It's a few pieces of machine parts that are bolted together. So if we want to take something apart and replace a subsection, it's pretty easy to do it. I mean, you guys manufacture stuff all the time. It can be a very expensive technique, but I think that sometimes that repairability goes a long way. And so, you know,
For sure.
we weigh it
For
a
sure.
lot.
For sure, when you're running in time constraints, and if your bot is small, like a fusion or a copperhead or a tantrum, you can only get so many hands into this machine. It really does help you out.
So you get really hyped up before a match, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
beforehand. So
You don't get hyped up? You guys get hyped up.
No, I usually stretch out and I try to stay as calm as possible. But somebody's asking, how do you wind down after a fight? Since it looks like you do have so much energy. Do you have a ritual of some kind that you would do, or?
What do I do to wind down after a fight?
Eat some Taco Bell? I don't know. What?
I'm usually the one that runs the battery back to the tent. And I just kind of sit there.
Really? Really? That's it?
So, I mean, yeah, it's like after a fight, you know, we take the battery out in that little tent area because they want us to. I just try to burn energy by walking around. So my team's like, don't worry about it. We'll document the robot, and you know we'll look at whatever's broken and something. Just go put the battery back in the tent. And I'm like, okay, just take the battery, walk over to the tent, put it down. Someone takes away my Red Bull so I don't drink any more of it.
Oh, so that's your drink, huh? You're not a Monster Man?
I mean, you know, I got a gun for that Red Bull sponsorship at some point, you know.
Yeah, right. Throw them a bone. See what happens.
Is there somebody on your team that critiques your driving?
If it's really obvious,
kind of gives you a little shit later on, you know, what you did here and there.
Oh yeah, if it's super obvious, like someone will point it out to me, but usually they trust me. I've been running this design for quite a few years, so all the nuances of it, they trust me that I know where the robot needs to be and how it maneuvers and this and that. They're really supportive, and you know, sometimes when you honestly, you do make a mistake, and you know, sometimes you want someone to commiserate with you more so and tell you, yeah, you goofed. You know, I know when I goofed. I don't need anyone to tell me that. But, yeah.
There's one guy on your team I really liked. When no matter if you were winning, losing, destroying someone or on fire, he was always spinning his towel for you. But he's gone to Valkyrie this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, so he's actually our head flamethrower guy too. His name is John Mayo. He's a mutual friend between all of us, and you know, Valkyrie had a pretty big turnover on their team. So, you know, we looked at all the options and everything. Sawblaze flamethrower system was in a pretty good spot, and he's like, you know, I think that to be most effective, I need to primarily be on Valkyrie. And so we talked about it, and we're like, yep, I think that's the right move to go. And so he's primarily over in that camp, but he's still very much involved in the flamethrower upgrade. So they do every season, and he came back many times to check and make sure everything is okay. So, oh yeah, towel guy, formerly thumbs up guy. I think that Bloodsport's got a new double thumbs up guy, and he also trained our towel guy for this season. You saw we have a towel guy still. So he trained him on the technique. There's actually a technique for it.
There's a nice technique for that. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Of course. Perfection in every exhibit.
It's important. You know what the rumors are that the towel keeps me cool during the fight. So if he stops, like I'm gonna overheat.
We found the source of his power. Take his towel away.
So, what do you think about the colors of your team, your bots? Are you ever gonna change from that green?
We like the contrast. So as long as, I mean, when we entered in the ABC era, you know, we needed as many knobs as we can to really wow the production staff, right? The selection committee, the elusive selection committee. So we went for the circular saw, we went for the green colored flamethrower, and you know, it just kind of stuck. Like, I think the green, as long as we have a green flame effect, it's got to stay. You know what I mean?
You're right, Anthony. This was a Sal beating hard.
But you guys got it back
That's
together,
what Sawblaze
though.
does, man. That overhead attack is devastating.
Now this was the fight where you only had
and
half the motors,
this was back when you were running a Sawblade, I believe.
We ran a Sawblade for the first few, but we really wanted to get the new weapon up. So this is the new weapon.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, if we ran the diamond saw with that much abuse, I think we would have bent the blade hitting you, and that would have been embarrassing.
We didn't have a problem with the weapon. We had a problem with the plow.
So is this the first proper fight then you had with that hammer head, I guess?
So this is season 4, right? So we used it against Blacksmith before, but that was the first. So there's a lot of firsts for that season. I mean, this is the first season we were running a brushless drivetrain. We tried to implement the hammer saw. That was an upscale of my 30-pounder, but I didn't get the white ratios quite right. And we also running a sensorless brushless system. So it actually takes us like 20 seconds to get to full speed.
Really?
Yeah. So any reasonable hit where it's kind of soft compared to max speed, but the blade.
Well, you chop through them stabilizer braces pretty easily.
Yeah, that was a heavier blade though, so we were probably swinging like I want to say 25 pounds plus the pulley or something. That's why it was so unbalanced in the blacksmith fight. That blade we ran against the Sow one. We had the Tormach guys shave off a whole section of it to make it thinner, just to make it weigh less. And the Tormach guys weren't very happy about that either.
Wait, what's the story? What's the story with the Scorpios thing? And Zach putting that blade on there. What'd you think about that?
Well, Zach visited us in Boston actually, and on our team, we had someone come over to our pit and they're saying, there's something going on in the Scorpios pit, and we're like, is there something going on over there? We were unsure. We're just focused, getting ready for the fight. We had an idea of what we wanted to do, and so we're putting those little pieces on. And the news was they might be putting on the blade, and we're like, really? Actually, we filmed a lot of segments. They did the ballot box. We saw the ballot box. Our team's looking at each other. We're like, I don't believe it until we're in the box. And we're like, we went one step further. Another one of my team members said, I don't believe it until the match is over and we fought against that blade. So we loaded in the box. It's like, is this real? Is this real? Is this happening? And we fought against the blade, against the overkill blade.
Well, I kind of had that same situation. I kind of had that same feeling when Hydra fought Bronco, and I kept seeing it with those skis on, like they had like these reverse skis.
Perfect catchers.
And I'm like, they got to have another Bronco. This can't. Nobody would fight Hydra like that. And I'm just like, I'm not going to believe it. And they loaded it in, and I'm like, something's going to happen. They're going to pull it out. They're going to say it doesn't work. They're going to bring in a different one. And I think later I really looked at it a lot, and I think they were worried about landing right side up, and they were trying to make a condition so they had like side springiness.
Oh yeah,
you know what? From that perspective, they probably felt like they were going to lose the ground game no matter what. So you might as well try to maximize your efforts after that.
Yeah.
Right?
So I don't think it was as dumb now that I think about it.
Yeah, but
I thought it was.
What was Zach's thinking with the blade? What was he going to do with it?
They robbed everybody of the saw and saw.
I think he thought it had more torque than it did, from what I remember reading. I don't want to quote him because that's kind of a sore subject for a lot of people. But
you don't think it was just for the history that he just was kind of into using it in a fight?
I think if he came out and said that, people would be really mad. and because they were already mad about that.
Well,
That's
he was in here talking a couple of weeks ago, right?
mm-hmm.
Oh, here's one for you, JMO.
Christian told him not to
special
wreck
your
it.
green, or is it proprietary that you can't tell anybody about the color?
Now we had a few reports and things like that about it. Yeah, the green color to the flame effect has actually evolved over the years. The first few years, where it was more of a bluish green. I mean, I guess that's not actually true either. So we wanted to use propane. Some years we did a isobutane. The first few years it was propane, and we did a copper sulfate salt.
Copper.
Yeah, we crushed it in a mortar and pestle, and then we literally drizzled it into the flame pad, and it was just enough to change the color. Then another year, we actually dissolved it in water and we sprayed it out. That's a good story too. That was season 3. Season 4, we used the isobutane because we were having some ignition problems. So it's easier to ignite the butane than the propane, but butane's a bastard gas, so we want to go back to propane. And then in the later years, we actually did a boric acid dissolved in methanol mixture injected into the tank, and then we just kind of like, do a little mix up,
Shake it up,
shake and not stir. So that's what we've been using since then. It's been working out really well.
So one of those very early fights, I remember a saw caught under the screw, and the driver apparently trying to cut through the screw.
That was JMO.
That was Scorpio.
Was this you?
That was Scorpios, actually.
Was it?
That was Scorpios. Okay. And they were like mad that they didn't let him cut through the screw. Like, dude, you can't like do that.
I mean, it probably would have taken them a long time to actually do, though, right?
I didn't see it, but the report is that they got really deep, because I think that tube section is hollow. So once you kind of break through the wall and then you've got the edges of it, you make a lot of progress really quickly.
So if people wanted to find info about the bot, where would you put all that info at? You got a website or just on Facebook or?
Oh, about Sawblaze?
Yeah, any bot, yeah.
We don't really have a really good deep dive section anywhere. And websites that's coming, but there's a lot of things to maintain, so we try to keep it localized to our social media. There's little bits of information sprinkled all over the place in our Facebook and Instagram.
What's your Instagram?
I think it's Sawblaze BattleBot, Sawblaze_BattleBot, I believe. That's where you're going to find the most information about the machine. It's kind of randomly sprinkled in there, little factoids, little bits. You don't have a really good summary or build log page like some of the other teams do.
I'm thinking somebody, BattleBots coordinated, should take care of some of the team's websites and stuff. Get everybody set up and doing everything. That way, BattleBots have less to do on their end for selling merch and everything, and they just get everybody like a pre-done setup. That way, we don't have to take care of it because our website's like 20 years old. And
that'd be nice, but you got to fact check on the information too.
I'm going to put these links in the show description later. I just want to make sure this is the right. Is this you?
Yes.
Alrighty, thanks.
So, JMO, do you want to see an endgame rematch?
I do too.
You do?
Yeah, and the goal will be to stay in the arena for 3 minutes.
Well, they put the new sneeze guards there for you, so you won't get punted out of the edge anymore, right?
That would be just that much more impressive if it goes out. But you gotta remember, like if you ever watch that one again, I don't, because I've seen it once was enough. Once in person was enough. Like we had
is that the flame ball one?
No,
that's the one
No?
that we just got caught in the back. Yeah, it had a nice arc to it. I think if even the sneeze guards were there, we would have gone over it. So the difference is, and I know I still need to prove this to people. Sawblaze can climb stairs.
So you should have climbed out of there then.
I should have tried. That's what I should have done. I think that little, the yellow bar they used to slide the gate. I think that would have gotten in their way.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been really ugly if we tried to get over. An endgame definitely would have just kicked us over again. So,
they would have gave you at least a minute to try doing that. If you actually would have almost got over there.
As soon as we got one wheel over the edge, I'm sure Jack would have been right there, and he'll blow the whole wheel off or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you sell any merch?
None other than what's on the BattleBots web store.
Somebody's asking about where you got that sweet ass hat from.
Oh, this one's one of a kind.
It sure is.
Got some text on there. So
I believe I signed that about midway through the season, and just dropped it off. We were running out of hats, and I knew I had to give one to Jameson, and I don't know. I think you like it. I mean, you're wearing it now, so obviously you must like it a little
very
bit.
Handy.
Yeah.
Right?
That's I mean, I have it within reach, and I kept it obviously. So
plus,
I like
if you're ever doing like covert ops, then you blend right in. Other than that white lettering, otherwise you'd blend right in.
Jameson, there was one fight of yours I particularly wanted to ask about. I know you've probably been asked about it a lot. 7 years on, how are you feeling about Razorback Season 2?
So 7 years.
Decision.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's an oldie. I mean, what do you want to know about it specifically?
How are you feeling about the decision now, and how are you feeling about it at the time? I know it's still quite disagreed on to this day.
I think that I don't know, that taught me a valuable lesson, and I think it's something that folks need to, new competitors will learn. That's, and this is not to invalidate BattleBots as a competition, but you got to think about the show aspect, and there's a win-win situation for the teams and the show, and that's the thing that I kind of needed to learn this, and it was a harsh lesson. It felt terrible at the time. I remember it took every ounce of my being to not be. I mean, I was pissed, but not be even more pissed. Not make a big show about it. I still tried to rally the crowd and give a roar to them, but you had a safe face. I mean, and so since then, you think Sawblaze has been really aggressive and punishing in the arena. That's the reason why, is because I don't want any of this confusion to happen again. The saw could still spin. I turn it off because that's what I do in my 30-pounder normally, because I turn it off when I don't use it.
How come?
Yeah, because usually the amount of gyroscopic precession, even generated from a light blade, still causes you to drive funny. Mm-hmm. And so, usually in most of the other 30-pound, the smaller weight classes, the amateur league, so to speak, no one really kind of bothers you about that. You can turn it back on when you want to. It hadn't occurred to me that I should just leave it on at like a low speed or something, just to show judges that it does work. And that's kind of like, now I'm thinking about the communication of information between myself and the judges. How do I prove to the judges that my stuff works? I need to be demonstrating it. If I'm going to be fighting a lot of judges' decisions, which Sawblaze usually does, how am I going to prove to them that we're doing well in the match? So I need to think about, if I were a judge, how do I know they're still working? And it put me into that perspective about, how do I do things that are good for the show? How do I tell the judges that we're in operable states? I think that the stuff that we're doing these days with the post-match functional stuff is a really great way. Now they're asking folks, hey, tell us you work. I think that's a great move. I don't have to worry about that as much, but if we're fighting judges' decisions, we got to really try to be aggressive and controlling if we're not going to be super on that damage category.
I wish Ginger would have. I wish Ginger would have showed her weapon one match. That it worked.
It did the punchy thing, just not the spinny thing.
It worked against Hydra this year, so
We don't talk about Orange Boy anymore. That's no zone.
Yeah, I always wonder about, and I trust the judges will recognize that robots have multiple functions that, I don't know if that means when they lose a subset of that function, is it counted as the same amount of, is that your primary weapon if the spinning thing doesn't work? If let's say our spinner goes down, but our arm still does this.
Yep.
Is it like
or for fusion, if one weapon goes down and the other one doesn't, how do you rule that?
Well, I would assume if your spinner went down, you'd lose your weapon, right? It's not like you're going to hammer somebody to death. The
horizontal is the primary weight of the weapon, though.
The fusion example, I have heard people say, well, fusion, they only lost one weapon. Fusion lost two. So fusion should lose. And I'm kind of like,
that settles it. We're going with 3 spinners on fusion.
Oh no! Here we go. Opened up a can of worms.
Hey, I seen your drawing this week. It's got 3.
No, it's got 3 to compete with your 3. Because if we gotta go with something fucking bonkers, that's the way to go.
All right, JMO, would you go all weapon, like super big and devastating, or would you go for one that's actually reliable?
Reliability is key.
Because Dad's always for, put the biggest thing on you can and wallop the crap out of them. Well, bots are getting so hard now that you can't just like go for KOs all the time. So then you're just going for judges' decisions, and then you have to have an operable weapon.
I hate putting weight into armor.
I feel like these days, the way I look at it, because the loss of function is it's really detrimental to your machine. And it doesn't even matter how you get it these days. So, you could have a powerhouse weapon if it goes down because, I don't know, random things do happen. I almost feel like trying to make anything you can do for reliability is a function to your benefit.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily have to be armor.
At the end of the fight, if your 3 components are working, your armor, your drive, your weapon, it's hard to lose a fight. But if one of them stops working, it's pretty easy.
So you need small weapons and a lot of them.
Some of this might be a function of the new reliability of these robots. I was just thinking about this, like back in the olden days, Comedy Central days, a lot of bots would just come apart and it'd be really easy to figure out who won. These kind of rock'em sock'em battles that we're having today, that's really a new thing. That 2 high KE bots can, like Witch Doctor and Hypershock, can go 3 minutes. I mean, it's really new and unheard of. And so the judging it's really gonna come down to judging. And and in the old days, you flip a guy 6 feet in the air, you'd knock a guy out. Nowadays, you throw them 12 feet 6 times or something, and they still don't get knocked out. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, but what flipper only flips 6 feet in the air?
All of the old schoolers.
Most of them.
All of them now still.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Because flippers this season have not been looking great. Not so far. I mean, I think Hydra flip count has more than all of them combined so far. So
just make another hammer saw. I mean, everybody's got them now. It's kind of the thing, right?
I need more of them.
I would bet JMO's weapon motor is bigger than your weapon motor on Hydra.
Well,
for sure.
Probably is.
What do you got? You mean just the pump motor, right?
A 5660, 5650 TP power.
TP power.
So that's actually like a 56 millimeter thing. That's how they size them, right?
Yeah. I think it's smaller than your drive.
It's shorter for sure, and I guess it's smaller than the weapon. We use a single 80 something on a new motor on the weapon.
Ah, new motor.
See, what the difference is mine can build up over time. They're big weapons. They got to store up energy quicker to get that big, huge hit, where I can go over 8 seconds and build up energy and energy and energy.
Pump up the spring.
Pump up the spring, yeah.
It's almost like cheating.
Well, we want to talk about cheating. Pumping up before a match, that's cheating.
Yeah.
Or
Probably
I
like
will.
spring if you hit it hard enough.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. Well, like, you can't spin up your weapon beforehand because people can see it. But like Blip, he could get a spinner ready to flip right away, and he could be spinning at 10,000 RPM before the match even starts. It's all those little hidden things that aren't included, which it's internal. It shouldn't really matter, right?
Speaking of Dick, did we block somebody who wanted to talk about something? I don't know.
I don't know. Did we?
I'm gonna star it. I didn't block anybody this stream, so.
No, it's been traditional that, all flippers are ready to flip, but before the green light.
Yeah, I don't know if he got blocked or not, so they should have him come back in.
I do like what Lucky's doing this year. Although they haven't really got height, they don't really need it, because in that arena, just balance someone slightly against the wall, and you can win a fight, as they've proven. It may not be the most impressive, but it'll get you a win.
Yeah, I do like the punting flippers. I always love a good on the fly or punt where they go basketballing across the arena, and Lucky, because they kick out a lot, is going to have more of a chance of balancing somebody against the edge.
I feel sorry for his driver having to wear a headphone and be talked to the whole while he's driving.
Oh, have him in your ear the whole time.
Hey,
Yeah.
At least they got a good driver. There are some teams, that's one of them, which I was just like, dude, just find a good driver, because it's sad when you see a good bot driven badly.
Mm-hmm. JMO was that way for a while, right? Nah, I'm joking.
Shots fired.
Oh,
I was
no.
watching some of his 30-pound fights. They're pretty great.
Dude, hell yeah, they are. Not to blow smoke up his ass, but yeah.
I didn't even know until like a week ago that you pretty much run Sawblaze as a 30.
Oh yeah, it's pretty potent. It does well.
Is
What's
it
it called?
really? Does it drive really the same? Same tactics, everything, or is it a little bit different than the big one?
Yeah, they're. I think at this point, function-wise, they're more or less the same. They go on a upgrade cycle off season from BattleBots. So I take all the whatever breaks on Sawblaze, I was like, all right, how do I fix this? And I'm like, you get the upgrades, and we're gonna see if you break this time. And then if it does well, then we take those and we're like, all right, let's scale it up to heavyweight forces, and then it goes on to Sawblaze.
What's the 30 pounds name?
Megatron.
And who's your number one competition? That darn
For Megatron?
emulsifier?
Oh, it's got to be Emulsifier, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. This year Emulsifier beat me in this, or that's I guess last year December. Emulsifier beat me, and he won the Grand Championships. Last year I beat him, so I won the Grand Championships. It's been the same 3 robots on the podium for the NHRL finals, which is pretty crazy. Actually, now I think about it.
So what did you think when they brought the heavyweight version of Emulsifier this year?
Oh, it looked. It looks pretty scary. Those guys can build good robots. So
Yeah, it's a big, I don't know, somewhere around 40, 50 pound vert. And it's nothing to mess around with, that's for sure.
I think that they learn a lot of lessons about what's working, what's not working. Bots FC, I don't think they've built a heavyweight spinner before. They've been running Shatter and Blue and the variations for many years. So I think they're just getting used to it. The components are there. They know how to build robots, and all these small issues that they've learned about. It's going to be even better than this year. and this year's already been doing pretty good.
I mean, you had a competition already this year at Norwalk, right?
Yeah, that was actually just 2 weeks ago.
And are you allowed to say how you did there?
Oh yeah, I can say that. That's public knowledge for
Did you
sure.
mop the floor with them again?
So, yeah. Okay, I won both of them for the 12 and the 30.
Oh, there you go.
They
Mop
ran a
the
new
floor,
format. It was only single elimination in the tournament now, so there's a lot of good robots that I kind of escaped that are, they're frequent fan favorites. So I don't know. We'll see how this new format that they've got going. It's a little bit of luck into where you get placed in the bracket. So I'm don't know if it's going to be repeatable, but it worked out in my favor this time.
I believe it was 50 pounds AR 500, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he was calling it a statement. So which one do you like driving better, the small bot or the big bot?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like, you can just go right based on competing cost-wise, or which one's actually nicer to drive. You pick.
Kind of like driving the big one a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay.
More risk, more reward, right?
It's the way it handles a little bit. I think the smaller robots are everything. It's like everything's so tiny and agile. It's a little bit touchy.
Like, it's really super quick. Like, every bot is just crazy speed.
Especially the much like the beetle weights. It's like ants. They're just all over the place. The 30s are pretty okay. Megatron handles really well. The weight ratio is a little bit different than Sawblaze. So the weight is distributed to everything's a little bit farther out from the turning center. So it kind of turns like a boat. It's got a lot of inertia behind it. Sawblaze is a little bit more compacted. So everything kind of makes a little bit more sense. But you oversteer on Megatron, you might as well just do another loop because it's probably faster than trying to turn back. You know what I mean?
What kind of wheels do you have on the little one?
So right now I've got RoboCore from Brazil. They actually make small versions of their tires. So I've been running those right now. And before then I was using rubber neoprene rollers for material handling, like conveying systems. So those worked out really well. There's a lot of things you can do with the small bots.
And they're cheaper.
They are cheaper.
So which one of your small bots is your favorite, though? Because this walking system here is quite impressive.
Yeah, but it turns out it was really easy to replicate. I had a lot of questions in the initial, and I didn't want to tell people exactly what I'm doing because I want people to be like, oh, I want to think about the issue and how it's done, and people came up with a lot of interesting variations on it, and that's kind of the point. I didn't come up with that because someone told me. I understood how I think it should work, and then came up with something.
So is there a better version out there than yours?
I think they all have different merits. This one is, designed to be very compact, and then it does what it wants to, and it's very minimalistic. I think one of my favorite variations is, I think it's an Antwick called Mud Skipper, and he's got these large hoop things. So it actually hoops that kind of extend beyond the shuffler pod, and it gives him some ability to actually drive the whole surface. The arc doesn't quite work out for necessarily optimal translation on the ends, but he can rotate like a log if he wanted to. He's got these little stoppers, but I thought that was a really cool idea to implement. So people are coming up with a lot of neat ideas for shufflers. Yeah, you kind of see how those leg hoops were working out for him. I don't know if it's 4 months ago. I think he had a newer version than that, but I saw something fairly recently.
So just for the non-Norwalk fans, is there an advantage for using a walker over wheels? Well, yeah, kind of, right?
I think for Norwalk there is, because you get the weight bonus.
Yeah, you get a bit. How much is the weight bonus? Like 50% or?
Approximately. It varies between the weight classes. So the beta weights, it's a lot heavier than a lot more weight bonus percentage wise than the 12s and the 30s. Another, the shufflers can be really complex. There's just more moving parts in it. But another advantage that people often overlook is the profile of the legs. So let's say if I had a robot that was like 3 inches wheel diameter normally for invertibility, I need a 3-inch diameter circle, right? But for the shuffler mechanism, I might be able to build that in a subsection of that. I just need the tops and bottoms for those arcs to be on 3-inch touching. Yeah, so it's actually like, let's say it's like a 1-inch thin profile. And so you've got all this horizontal space you can deal with instead of allocating it towards a wheel, which is not actively doing anything with the floor. You can kind of narrow it in.
So they're calling shuffler bots walkers?
At Norwalk, they're calling it, it's not non-wheeled, it's novel locomotion methods, I think. It's like wheel alternatives, not non-wheels.
So your best would be to make a shuffler that was a multi-bot. So you get like 30 pounders, but each one would be like 20 pounds on a piece.
I fought some pretty incredible shuffler multi-bots at Norwalk 2 weeks ago. One of my favorites actually was a team from Georgia Tech. They had a shell spinner named Chonky, and it had a mini bot. And the shell it was beautifully machined from one piece of billet steel and then hardened. I think it must have been a 1/4-inch wall on a gigabyte style angle thing, and the shell was like 25 pounds, fighting a 30-pounder. It offered some serious wallops if it could get purchase on you. And the other one I fought was from the Ribot team. It's called STF, Save the Frogs, actually using prototype motors for Ribots. For Ribot in a 30-pound robot. So they had a lot of, Ribot's got a lot of power. That 30-pounder had a lot of power in it as well. And, those weight bonuses really helped them get there. So I don't know how heavy of a robot I was fighting. Total 30 pounds plus 15 and weight multi-bot bonus. Maybe it's like a 50-something pound entry total versus a 30-pounder.
So if we make it a really good 25-pounder, it would do really good because you could get double a multi-bot kind of thing.
Yeah, possibly. I know you guys are thinking about it, aren't you? I can see the gears turning.
If we were going to do it, it would be something like that. Yeah.
Terry's smiling. He knows.
We like to get as much as we can out of the rules.
Been down that road before. Got banned.
He'd probably just make a little version of Sow.
Yeah, shuffling Sow.
I'd have to make a real walker, otherwise it would ban me.
I've always been really, I've had my theories about how the original Sow shuffler worked. Have you ever done a full breakdown of that mechanism?
Well, there's just a camshaft that moved the runners up and down, and then a crankshaft that moved them back and forth, and there's 3 of them stacked up the side of each other, each taking turns.
It was the same shaft though, so they're coordinated, right? But you had to belt it off on the crankshaft so that one set was lifting just a small amount, and you had the crankshaft for more horizontal motion. Is that right?
Right. I mean, the runners had they were probably a couple of feet long, type of thing, right? And then there were slots in them on either end, and that's what the camshaft ran in, and that's what did the picking up of each runner, a 3-phase runner walking beam. And then there was a separate crankshaft in the middle that actually pushed each runner back and forth. They were all timed together with timing belts.
Yeah, I looked at some of the old videos. I won't be able to find them now, but it had more forward-backward throw, which is kind of necessary because otherwise they just kind of vibrate.
Right.
It was quite a bit.
That was understanding that aspect was a large part of what inspired what I ended up doing. I did My shuffler is a lot simpler. It's a half-assed version of that. So I'm not quite getting as much of the full advantage of your system. But I've also have like way less stuff, which makes it fit in the beetle weight. But the double cam, let's say like the balanced vertical horizontal, just a simple eccentric. People were building that, and it was really bouncy. I was noticing. So finding a way to turn that into effective horizontal translation. That's what the robot needs. That's
the problem we had every match was trying to keep our traction element. That was the runners were made from Delrin, and on the bottom of that we had a rough textured conveyor belt screwed to the bottom of the runners, and that didn't stay on there for shit. So it was always coming off, and then you're just kind of spinning in one place, then not getting a lot of translation. Especially when you get to the end in the finals match, we're just barely moving.
But you still won. Got to show some movement. So somebody is asking. Sorry, Anthony, you're not somebody. You're a nobody. No, I'm joking. At this point in the season, they know you're having problems about your wheels. So what do you think about it now? Do you think you got it solved? Is this your first match with testing the new wheels?
We you gotta watch our wheel saga.
Cobalt Kid's in here. Derek Tran.
Wow.
Cobalt Kid. You better change his name.
Should be Gigabyte, actually. Derek,
No.
do you like
Well,
Gigabyte
no,
or Cobalt more?
he will forever be known as Cobalt Kid.
He was on
Because
Cobalt the first year. when we
that
met
is the most kick-ass name ever. All right, and I know he doesn't like it. I know he doesn't like it, but he should. That's like fucking Josie Wales or fucking Dirty Harry. All right, that's only coming along once in a lifetime here.
What about Giga Kid?
No.
Okay, all right.
It's like
That's not bad.
I'm
That's
just
not
I'm
bad.
just throwing stuff out there,
It's not bad.
You can't change nicknames halfway through. I can't do that. We got another one here. Somebody's asking about Doom. What do you know about Doom? Does it look like Sawblaze?
No, I wanted to hear about the tires
of Sawblaze and Beta.
We need to finish this tire discussion.
Well, we'll get back to
Well, you guys pick first. You're running the show. I'm just.
This guy's been asking
I'm
about
just
Doom for
crashing
ages
in.
in the chat.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's about the 10th time now. That's why I'm poking at it.
Okay, all right. Which one you want me to do
Let's
first?
do Doom first.
All right, Doom.
They failed their safety check, didn't they?
Doom. I mean, I saw their application video, and I saw them. They use Sawblaze as an example. They're gonna blow us up. I was like, shots fired. I was like, all right. He's talking big. Let's see what he's got. I do think that they are talking about the multi-directional hammer. So I think the armor package does look like this does remind me of Beta a lot. So but their mechanism, I believe, is a kind of crankshaft type thing. So they're talking about how they can fire faster and everything. I mean, that sounds great if they could recharge the spinner fast enough. I mean, depending on how much weight they're spinning, I actually don't know off the top of my head. It might take a lot longer than the mechanism speed. So, all those things got to play together. Otherwise, it might not be worth it. But you'll just have to see. You just have to see how and what it does later on.
Do we know what it was that they initially got pulled up on? Because they were meant to be in the main competition, but something didn't pass the safety check. Is what at least is the rumor, and they had to be going to the side event instead.
Oh, like what actually held them up? I'm not sure what actually held them up. We're busy trying to solve our wheel problem, which is a perfect segue into the wheel question.
Yes, wheels. Yes.
Yeah, wheels. So let's say at this point in time, what day is it in the tournament that we're about to
I got asked this today. It's got to be somewhere around 10, right?
I got it here.
That was like 6 or 7. Because it was fight,
4
break,
fights.
fight. Yeah.
You weren't doing fight after day after the other.
Well,
We had one break
while
day,
Dick's
right?
looking, I know
Okay.
the first person
Okay.
through safety, and I
Hydra-
what
I
it
bet
was?
you it's closer to
I got
10 than it is to 6.
Hydra free shipping is day 6.
Maybe like Saturday.
If you don't count the very first day we were there. So
Okay.
remember, there was a fixed day. The first fixed day
So
was
7 then?
the first fixed day was right before the Hydra free shipping fight, and that's where we're at. So it might have been day 7 for you, but I kind of started at day 0.
Let's
And
say
we unpacked.
let's say the first day of any, like the 3 days of the before they're doing all the background stuff. Let's say that's day 1. So does that mean that Sawblaze Hydra is day 7? Is that right?
No, probably
Yes.
farther than that then.
So,
No,
We don't
Sawblaze
include
Hydra
safety
is
days,
day.
do we?
Sawblaze Hydra is day 7.
okay.
The first 3 days I have listed as setup and prep and all that crap.
Okay.
The first day of fighting was day 3, according to my chart.
So it's the 4th day of fighting.
Wow, that's incredible. Like the season feels like it's been forever, but it's really just been that short a time. All right, so we're at this point in time, we're releasing on our social media kind of I call it the tire saga thing. We're releasing bits of information as we're going along to kind of keep it all in line with the current progress of things. So if you go on there right now, there's a little write-up about how we're doing this multi-part wheel thing. So we've had the Brazil tires, and they're fantastic wheels, by the way. I feel really bad for Murillo, who helped us make them. We're kind of butchering his work right now. These are beautiful tires when we got them, and I mean, we were one of the first folks in the arena and the first ones in the test box, and we're just shredding them with what I'm trying to do, with what I'm trying to drive around in, and we're trying to push XYZ robot. We lost a lot of tire diameter when we got stuck in the bottom of Hypershock trying to move around. So we're like, all right, we got to find a solution. In our current one, we shaved down the tire more with a carbide burr. So we had a die grinder with a carbide burr on the end, shaving the tire diameter down so we could do another coat of an abrasion-resistant urethane on the outside. And we've got an 8-inch spring form pan to hold the tire. That's our outer mold. It's actually pretty close to the diameter that we want, and it's crazy how well it's working right now. So there's a little short clip of us, pouring in the casting around it. It's the first time we've tried the casting. It may or may not work. You guys will find out soon. But we are not using those in our Hydra fight. It's not vetted yet, so we need more time to.
But they didn't wear as much as the straight tires did.
I don't know. Should I say now, or should I wait for the story?
I guess wait. I don't want to give any spoilers.
So you're not going with new and improved tires for this next fight, then? You're going with the old reliable ones, the original.
No. He said he's trying the brand new ones out with the overmolded urethane.
I'm sorry. We're using the unmodified wheels for.
Okay.
Because they weren't tested yet.
Oh, this is the casting. I can't make it bigger because I'm not good at this. But is this what you were talking about, the casting?
Yeah. It's a Facebook reel, so it's it's imperfect. But,
what a mess! Wow.
That's work, and that's at BattleBots. You first tried this out, right?
Yeah, this is at BattleBots, and then in the hotel, or sorry, the Airbnb. I guess same thing. The team constructed a curing oven out of a Amazon box and pink insulation foam, and they have a closed loop air control with a hair dryer and a temperature switch.
Hell yes, I love it.
And we had
Love
to
it.
babysit it to make sure that nothing was burning because we were really worried about the cardboard.
You don't want to burn the hotel down. You know?
Yeah.
So that's your Amazon box autoclave?
Yeah.
They're curing oven made out of cardboard.
You don't need to go too hot, but elevated temperatures really speeds up the cure. And we're like, we're looking at the number of days and we're planning ahead. We're like, all right, let's assume. I mean, at this point, I think we're feeling pretty good about making it somewhere in the tournament. We're like, all right, we're gonna need a wheel solution. We're gonna need it by this day, and we got to cure it now. We got like 24 hours per cure cycle. We need to start now, and it's got to work. So we're trying.
Well, I guess. Do you think this was the route to go? Do you think it worked out well for you?
He won't know until next episode.
This is a story that he's letting unfold.
Yes.
You'll have to find out next.
Yeah.
On...
Stay tuned to his Facebook or Instagram.
Links below.
If there's anyone who could be having the giant nut just sat next to them off camera, I think right now, based on everything we've seen so far, it would be you, Jameson.
Oh, come on. Why are you leaving me out of that?
Just looking around.
He's
See
looking
if there's
around
one.
for it. Jameson,
I don't see one, so
we should introduce you to our UK fan. He doesn't like spoilers. He hasn't watched ahead. So,
hi Tom.
Hey man, how you doing?
On the last episode, so
You're ruling Fusion out that quickly? Like, nah, no.
Fusion,
there's no
Hydra.
nut there. There's no nut there.
I'm not ruling Fusion out. I just
All
have more faith in
No,
Sawblaze.
it's cool. It's cool, Tom. It's cool.
Well, surprise me. Show me a giant nut.
You want to see a giant nut?
Don't ask me to give you a giant nut. No.
Don't ask him that.
Did your curing process?
I got two for you if you want.
When you were curing them, did it smell in the room at all?
that's actually pretty tame. Surprisingly.
So why did these large solid rubber wheels lose so much rubber? They shouldn't have.
Apparently we were rating them.
Not natural rubber. No.
Yeah, I can't verify the process because we sent it to our experts and we trusted the process. I'm not an expert on vulcanization and rubber compounds. So, but what we ran the tests, we measured the wheels before and after, and noted some other effects on the wheels such as rolling. So you can see sometimes when you have like abrading surfaces, you can see the rubber kind of roll up on itself. So it's like, all right, what does that exactly mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
were you spinning tires when you looked back at it? Were you spinning tires a lot?
Yeah, we had a lot more power than we can put on the ground, and I think that's related to the problem. So,
But at least you're not skid steering though, so that's gotta help.
That could be a lot worse. The tires that are made for us, what I really enjoyed about them is that it's a more rubbery compound than some of the other teams running quote unquote Brazil tires. So the durability and the sort of resiliency was really there. We really love these tires. But we were told they may not they are a softer durometer, so they may not have as much shear. They may not handle as much shear as much as the other ones. So.
Well, and compared to the other ones, you're running a relatively thin thickness. I mean, they're probably running 6, 9, somewhere between 6 and 9 inches, right?
That's what she says, but I don't believe her.
Well, that's what the weatherman said, and I didn't get no 7 inches. So,
aren't these tires solid? Aren't they?
Yeah, they're
these
solid.
are solid
Yeah.
tires.
yeah,
So in rubber, that's a lot of weight, isn't it? In rubber,
it's 40. I think
Okay, you
Vasquez said it's 40 pounds per tire. Yeah,
Really?
I don't know
That's
how
a
that's
lot.
possible.
I don't think that's. I think that might be maybe 40 pounds total. I could believe that for you said.
It's a lot,
right?
Either way, yeah. Either way, that's a lot for a tire for two of them.
Ours are, we shrank the diameter and the width, so they're about 5 to 6 pounds each, including the core.
How thick?
That was okay
how
with
thick are
us.
they?
They're about, I don't know, was that 3
3?
inches? All right,
Yeah.
Hold it to the screen. The camera's over here. It's probably about 3 inches or something.
3, yeah.
Let me take a guess. Yeah.
But they're metric.
Who's the chillest captain in your mind? We got a random
Chillest
question.
captain.
Somebody's saying Adam. I don't think Adam's that chill.
Gotta think about that one.
I would
I-
think
Come on.
Marco.
You're gonna go with that
It has to be
fusion
calm
guy.
and controlled
I
and
know.
operate.
I know you're gonna go with that fusion guy. I know it.
You got to go with
know
David
it.
if he ever shows his face.
Yeah.
If he can get Rusty working.
I always
Yeah.
thought Matt Vasquez was really chill because he like win or lose, he's just like, all right, we gotta do what we gotta do, and then he just he just work. They're focused and diligent. I don't think I've ever seen him like stressed out or ultra exuberant. I don't know.
I would say Marco from RioBots. You have to be calm to control. and operate.
I wouldn't say he's chill. Not one bit. Not for
Marco
20
Miggelaro.
minutes before. Not for 20 minutes before the fight.
should
Not
see-
for
you
half
should
an hour
see him-
after.
Yeah, before and after. I mean, it's freaking crazy.
Oh, okay. I only see one side of him, so.
Oh yeah, Luke's pretty chill.
We have a suggestion.
Yeah, that could be.
He almost smiles sometimes.
He caught him smiling when he in that last
Yeah.
South fight.
Yeah.
I
It was a
smiled more
smirk.
getting my-
It was a smirk.
It was a
He
smirk,
smirked.
Logan Davis from Sub-Zero is pretty chill. Hey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Give it
The
to
gruff
him.
guys.
Yeah.
Man,
So, what have you heard about this year's filming?
there's a lot of them that are actually like just like
Is it going to happen?
pretty pragmatic when it comes to
Last week of July,
Interviews?
first week of August?
I'll tell you next week, Terry.
That's
Next
the right
week.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to know until May.
If then. Mhm. So, you got any other stories for us from
Hey, it's got a cat.
this season or previous seasons that is just blown out of the water? Anything that just runs out?
Do I have any stories?
It doesn't have to be a good story.
I saw someone here talking about yelling, bring me Tombstone. Of course, I remember that one. So I guess there's a lot of really cute button presses. I don't do those anymore because every single time I try to be punny, I lose.
it doesn't work
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
You jinx yourself.
I really like Avengers puns, and there's so many good ones, right? For that one, obviously, if you're an Avengers fan, that's the line Thor uses before he tries to kill Thanos and then ultimately fails, right? And I
So
think
it's perfect for you then.
it was perfect. Yeah, and then the end game fight, I'm like, what? We're in the end game now. It's too cute.
Okay,
Too cute.
okay.
There's
Yep.
that one too.
We're on the
And
thing
every-
of saying
Yeah.
stuff. Have you ever just cringed at something that you forgot you said on TV and they had to air it?
If it's that cringy, I usually remember it. I'm just waiting for what everyone else is gonna say. So I'm just like, oh, yeah.
I would
Wonder
say
what's gonna
something
happen.
fans might consider cringy is the Martin Mason impersonation, but I loved it, honestly. So I don't know.
Well, one impression deserves another, and The point is not to do a really good job of it. So the point is to make it fun. So
Fun,
I know my impression is not really good.
It was still good. Like I enjoyed it. I don't enjoy a lot of things in life, but what I did enjoy was that impression.
Oh,
How many times did Shanley prod you to get over there with Chris and Kenny?
Oh, for the arena side thing?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but they spent a lot of time like trying to make sure I would be in the right spot so that they could call me over whenever. I'm just like, all right, just, I'm going to be here. Just call me over. And frankly, once I figured out what they wanted to do, I was actually pushing them to like get me in there as soon as possible so I don't have to be sitting on pins and needles. It's like, are you ready for me yet? Are you ready for me yet? But it's up to you because they had a fight that they wanted to do. They had the matchups in their head and they want you to go over for that one. And so they're waiting for that fight to happen before they would come and get me. So it's whenever those guys were ready for their fight.
They should have pre-gamed you on which fight you're going to go for then. That way you kind of know what to remember.
Oh yeah, they told me.
Oh,
they told me, and they're like, we want you to do the Whiplash Bad Catter fight because you have experience with each one. I was like, all right, that sounds fair. So I knew which one they wanted to do. I'm not sure they knew exactly what they wanted me to do though. It was the first time that they did the captain, ringside thing.
Oh, you were the first?
I was the very first one. So we were, they're trying to figure out what do you want? How do you want him to come on? How do you want to introduce him? And I didn't know what I want to say because Chris and Kenny, they got their thing going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, do I interrupt it? Like, do I just kind of like jump in there with factoids? Do I drop some hot news? Or do I wait to be cued in? I waited to be cued in because I want to mess it up. But I really should have done is just start talking because they can
they'll cut you out if it's not good.
Yeah, they have the ability to do that, and they film stuff in post because they've got Chris and Kenny for a little bit longer than they have us. So I should have just filled it with facts, man.
Yeah,
that's what I should have done. And I had some good facts, but I just didn't say anything. So
was it stuff that you would have actually remembered right then and there on the spot, though?
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the strategy of because they're going head to head. But how important is the ground game? They got locked up a few times. It's like, all right, what's he gonna do next? Whiplash has got more drive power than Mad Catter. Calvin's probably gonna have to back off and reposition, and Matt's gonna want to stay faced up to him and this and that. I had some good perspective in there, but I just kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to talk over those guys.
Let me tell you, I know.
The picture hurts me.
How that goes. Oof.
So how many minutes was this? Was this 3 minutes?
That's less than 3 minutes.
Less than 3 minutes.
You can see that the rubber, it's kind of rolled up on the surface of the used one.
Yeah.
Is that typical on, say, Black Dragon's Minotaur's wheels too? Whiplash? Were they seeing the same type of thing?
We were curious about that, so we actually we had a little pinch test between our tires and theirs. Minotaurs might be a little bit closer to ours. Whiplashes definitely felt like a foamier consistency. They were harder than ours. Ours were rubberier and softer. We may have been putting some more force onto the wheels than those guys are, because they're, aside from Whiplash, Minotaur and Black Dragon are weapon delivery systems, right? They don't need to do as much pushing, and we're trying to carry a lot of robots with us, so we loaded up on weight. So we're probably going to see a little bit extra wear than usual.
How do you like playing the ground game? What do you think of all these forks and whatnot? Oh,
it's nerve-wracking. If you play the ground game and you lose, you're more often than not, you're never going to recover in that fight, because from a design advantage, you just can't get underneath them.
Yeah. Well, at least you have a weapon, that can be delivered in a different fashion.
My weapon can only hit stuff when they're right in front of us. Well, I guess now we can strike below the floor now, but
no, I wish they'd really get rid of that. Make a rule that it's got to be powered. Anything that touches the ground for forks wise. That way, it's like your flippers can still be on the ground, but just throw a wedge on and let it flop on the ground. Can't have that anymore. It's got to be part of the frame, integral. That kind of thing.
When you switched from the saw blade to this kind of hammerhead type deal, which makes a lot of sense, honestly, was there an inspiration for that, or were you just trying to figure out how to deal more damage?
So that I'm going to speak praises always about designing stuff from the small bots first. You know, you get less expensive chances to mess around with stuff. So like when I built my old robot back in the day, and I had a saw blade on it, I realized it's way easier to use it if I just spin it up and then slam it down. And that was a long time ago. That was, I don't know, mid 2000s or something was when I was building the small robots. And so that kind of like sat in the back burner for a long time after the beetle weight got destroyed. And then I didn't build a 30-pounder until Charles literally threw parts at me and said, build a 30-pounder. And that's when I started picking that up again and trying to refine that concept. I mean, the saw blade it had its uses, but it was really fragile. It's like an 1/8-inch disc, 16 inches in diameter. Like the robot could kind of fall on it and it would taco. You know, we needed something more durable. We had a Bronco fight way back in the day. That was season 3, I believe. He flipped us once, we landed on the blade, and it bent. It was done already. Like, you know, you wanna be successful, you need to be able to take those hits. And we can't be babysitting our own weapon. You know, it's like a 45-pound handicap for all the fight. We lose that. I mean, there's points for the other guy, and we can't use the weapon. We needed something that would be more durable. That was already a strong enough motivation to do something else. Oh yeah, look at that video.
Look at his face.
That's quite the
Look
speed.
at his face. Yeah.
That's satisfaction. He knows what's good.
So how long does it take to change wheels on Sawblaze? Is it just a quick 4-bolt pattern or something like that on the outside, like a car?
Yeah.
So it's
I mean, it's 8, but you know, same.
Making a complete video from beginning to end.
What was that?
What?
Hydra does take a little bit longer to change out tires. We have to take the hub out and then pull the wheel off and then actually change the rubber off of the spline that's on the aluminum and then put it back in. But I mean, it's actually.
You tried exposed wheels? You should try exposed wheels next time.
Oh, exposed wheels! Exposed wheels is just armor, right? Then I would look just like Lucky. I don't want to look like Lucky. Exposed little wheels out there.
You wanna unlucky?
Yes. I don't necessarily like how Lucky's got his weapon always hidden behind his wedge too. Like it's really hard to punch people when you can't get under them fully with the old weapon. I mean, Blip kind of has that same issue now too, where yeah, it's got the big heavy wedge on to take on the spinners, but you really can't use the weapon half the time, or a lot of the time now, because he can't push them up far enough up the wedge.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think Aaron realized that in that endgame fight. You know, his weapon still worked, but he lost all of his wedge tips. Couldn't get underneath them anymore.
We get asked this question quite a bit. What new bot, or improved bot did you see at the event that like either surprised you or inspired you? I mean, obviously it's Claw Viper, but maybe if not Claw Viper, somebody else or.
So do you have a I mean, I know your worst Sawblaze fight, right? But like,
Which one's my worst Sawblaze fight?
well, the one you don't want to talk about ever. The
Well,
one
that's
here.
You got
A
which
different one, like that actually went a little bit longer that you don't like, either because of what you did in it or a simple mistake that changed everything.
The worst. Yeah. Oh, okay. There's I wasn't sure if you're referring to the Razorback one or the Endgame one or the Uppercut one.
There's a lot of them.
I mean, there's a handful.
Monsoon one?
But in your opinion, what's
the
your worst
monsoon one
Sawblaze?
was a silly one. So like, I think we had Tom pretty well, but it turns out, so the first hit, we hit the plow we used. That was a season 3 one for the monsoon one. The first hit our shock mounted plow in the center, and the repair that we did actually it had like a bump in the back behind the center plow. That's the same one we used against Reality. So if you can imagine, Reality kind of like picked up the center fork. The way the metal bent, it kind of kinked it in. So we actually cut it and then re-welded strips to kind of put the nose back down when they were all like big weldments like that. And so there's a bump behind the plow. Monsoon hit it, and it hit the bulkhead behind it. And the thing behind that, directly mounted to the face, was a Vex BB, which is the controller for our arm. Now, it's just fine and dandy because we spent most of that time trying to get them against the wall because we didn't have the fork geometry yet to capture people in the middle of the arena. But we finally got them against the wall, and I'm like, oh, the arms. I've given it the beam command, and no beams are happening. So it was kind of unfortunate after that. Now we couldn't deliver the weapon. Now the other silly thing about the monsoon fight is the match previous we fought Bronco, and that robot was Sawblaze was tumbling through the air so many times we didn't realize that one of the mounting ears for our gearboxes had cracked. They were cast aluminum for those original versions. That's before we really partnered with Harmonic Drive, our sponsor, for fully custom gearbox housings. Now they're all billet aluminum, but the ears cracked, and over time, through all the shocks and everything, the rest of the ears cracked, and the whole gearbox shifted into the frame. And we were using really heavy drive motors back then. We had NPC Black Maxes coupled to our Harmonic Drive gearboxes, and the frame member actually, the wires that came out from the back shorted against a frame member, so they're pinching off. Like, so we got intermittent turning on the drive motor that shifted in. And Monsoon, like, Tom's great at driving that thing. He started picking that gearbox apart once we started losing that drive function. It just kind of fell apart after that, which it's a shame. I would say for most of that fight, we were handling it pretty well, and I think if not for those things, it wouldn't have been a pretty win. But I think we could have taken that on the control and aggression standpoint. Looking at how I think it was Red Devil won earlier in that year against Monsoon, and they were getting beaten by that spinner pretty well. If we were to win that one, it would have been in similar, not pretty fashion as the Red Devil one, but I think we could have done it. Now, that season we definitely would have lost against Minotaur anyways. So that Sawblaze was not designed to handle a beast like Minotaur. So it's probably fine going out at that stage. We'll see. And
then to the second part of that question, your happiest time, who you beat, your performance in it, what have you? What was the best match you've had?
Best match? Oh man. One of my favorites has got to be that season 5 Witch Doctor. We took a lot of damage in that one, but it was such a good fight. It was back. I think people forget about that one. We love the big showy singular hits, but me personally love a good back and forth tussle that goes basically the whole match duration. And it was really dicey in the beginning. Like, they were flipping us and tearing off chunks. We're hitting them back and everything. It was a good fight, and eventually it started to go in our favor. And that's it had a lot of good action. It was decisive at the end. I think it had a lot of features that people loved about that first Blacksmith Minotaur fight. I mean, that was a classic, right? Look at that. That's fantastic stuff. And we pick up, we get back into it. We turn around and we get him, and we knock off one of those front things. Oh, it was classic. And Sawblaze can do some real damage now. So we're always surprised by whenever we deliver a hit.
How relieving is it to finally get somebody captured up on the forks? Like, is it super tense, and then you got them like captured, and it's like, oh, I can start breathing again?
It depends if they're still spinning or not.
Yeah, like right here, they're pretty dangerous.
Yeah. If they're still spinning, it's like I'm juggling a grenade. That's what I'm doing. What am I gonna do with this thing now? So it's still pretty nerve-wracking, you know, until the spinner stops, you know, you're handling a dangerous thing. So
this reverse hit, do you ever do that on purpose? Where you are using it?
I do that a few times. Honestly, I'm only doing that when I'm feeling confident. So they were slowing down, and you know, if you look a few frames back, the center tip is actually like bent up. So we were having a hard time getting underneath him anyways. At that point, I'm thinking, all right, the only way I can keep up the aggression is to go backwards because the blade's got full exposure there. So that's the reason why that happened. If they were still spinning, like that would be a unsafe maneuver. I wouldn't do that for sure. I used that against Kraken also, I think earlier that season. That ended up being a big mistake because we didn't expect the blade to wedge perfectly between the two halves of the jaw. So that was an intentional hit by us onto Kraken, but it ended up looking like they captured us. And so I was like, oh, that's not a good look. So got to turn up the fire for the rest of that fight to really turn around the judge's decision.
Well, didn't Kraken do the same thing against Witch Doctor? Was that same season that they grabbed Witch Doctor's blade?
Maybe. I mean, that geometry, just generally speaking, is really good for getting something jammed in there, you know? Vertical spinning blades, they want to catch that top jaw. It just pulls you in. It wedges you in. And, you know, Kraken can't pull backwards on that mechanism. So it's really difficult to get free. Derek says same season.
Thanks, Cobalt Kid.
Yeah.
So we got a hypothetical. If you had to fight Fusion, would you go wedge or forks?
Oh, for you, Reese, we have something special for you.
Well, of course.
Yeah. It only exists in my head, so you won't find it anywhere.
It's the wedge fork combination.
Oh, okay. I got a special one here.
Reese, are you muted?
Is who?
I see his mouth moving.
I was muted.
Oh,
I was muted that whole time.
So,
wow, that explains a lot.
So, we got this. Somebody wants to hear Jameson to hear that he does a better Martin Mason impression than Martin Mason does.
That's a trick.
Want you to do it?
I can't do a better Martin Mason impression than Martin Mason. I need to be more Martin than Martin.
I don't know.
Or maybe he's just telling you that you do a better Martin Mason than Martin Mason does.
I think so. I think he just wants to hear it. He just wants to hear it.
Well, thank you, Jason. Your question is alleviated. I don't know if we're going to get him to do it right now again, but
I mean, what would I say if I wanted to? If I let's say
first off, Jameson, hat backwards. You just come out. I know. I got the biggest dick out here.
No.
I know.
No, just tell
you're going to get him that way.
us how bad you're going to beat Fusion with Sawblaze.
Okay. All right, that's fair enough.
No. We need a good clip for
I'm
this
gonna put some foam. I'm gonna put some foam around my butt because you can't touch me because you're gonna start on fire.
Oh, I see. What's the characteristics of a Martin Mason wrestler impression? You got to put some sort of pun in there. He's really good on those puns, you know.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do yet.
All right, get it off of him. Don't fucking spotlight him here, God. Let's let him think. Let him think for a second.
Right. How about it's like you go against Fusion, okay, and then Reese will go first. He'll do his Martin Mason, and then you can respond with your Martin. Mason.
Martin Mason going against JMO.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Fair enough.
Get it up.
Okay. I need a drink. I need a drink.
That's not how Martin Mason starts.
That's
this. Oh,
exactly not what you need. I can
Wait,
guarantee
am I being Martin Mason fighting
no,
Grease and
you're being
Fusion?
you
I'm
as
being-
Martin.
Oh, being me as Martin, but I'm fighting Fusion?
Yeah.
Or just having a rap battle, or are we fighting?
Yeah.
No. Well, yeah, whatever you want. If you want to do a rap battle, Weasel doesn't.
Yeah,
know
we're gonna go back and forth here, Jameson. So
No, you're not.
just be
Oh,
ready
my
for it.
Oh my god. No, I'm so bad at these. Well, we'll try it.
the utter gun
See what
hats.
happens.
Battle
Where's
better.
my outer gun hat? Damn.
Just do it. Just
Damn.
do your thing.
Okay. Sauce. Serenity. Peace.
Serenity.
Coffee beans. I'm snorting coffee beans in the parking lot. It's 6 a.m. I'm Martin Mason. Jameson, go. You think you can handle me? You think your little saw can come up my asshole?
Is that an invitation? Because
Knowing Weasel, probably.
Knockout.
oh my god. Oh, look at that signature. It's beautiful right there.
Look at that.
Hell yeah.
I'll tell you what, Fusion, we'll bring the slash, but you'll bring the burn.
Damn. He's even got the stare, dude.
Yeah,
He's got
Damn.
you gotta have the stare. Didn't have the stare.
Damn.
You have to go with JMO on that one.
That's he's way too good at that. That's no
Knockout.
fair.
Knockout. Fatality.
And there, this is way better than watching Martin Mason himself. You know, we're gonna have to probably get him on here then. So. Not now, of course, obviously, but some other.
I'll let Martin know if he ever needs a stand-in. You know, I'll go in there. They won't know the difference.
No, you guys look exactly like.
I think the stare probably helps you get into the character, right?
Yeah. It's all that focus. He's got that focus.
He's always intense, man. Whatever he does, 110% all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy eyes.
Dog.
Okay. You guys have any more comments or questions?
agree.
For
I
Damo,
lost
since he
that.
was so
Fair and
gracious
square.
with joining us in tonight's shenanigans. We're almost
Yeah,
at the
it's been
4-hour
fun.
mark, so this is amazing. Again, you guys stuck with us for a crazy amount of time again. All 51 of you so far. Damo, you have any
After-
parting words for everybody that you have? You looking forward to this week's episode, maybe?
Oh, it's gonna be a good one.
Is it different that it actually got shown the week beforehand for you?
It's weird. It's so weird. You know, I mean, it's cool, but I think I read a few comments like, oh, usually I'm expecting like a comedy segment or something behind the scenes, and it's like I didn't read the email about what was going to be in this week's episode, so I was watching it with my crew, and I was like, what is that?
Yeah. That was. Are we even the main event? I don't even know.
We are main event, yeah.
We are. Okay.
All I know is that
I would
Hydra's
think
coming
so.
in fast, so we got to be faster. Apparently, I don't even know what that means.
Oh.
I don't watch the show because it's so terrible. What was the segment?
It was the Podbusters segment in between commercials before the main event.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they
He'd
played the
come
main
in
event.
fast if he wouldn't be
trailer.
hitting seams all the time.
I don't know. You
All
would have
right.
seen it on Discovery Plus, right? It's not like that would have been scraped over.
It's on. I mean, it's on Discovery Plus, and it's on Amazon Prime. I think everywhere that you can watch it on demand, I think it should appear in there.
So
Well,
we have a schooling question for you. Are you still in school?
I've been out for a while.
Okay.
Oz. What's the goal after you finish your degrees?
Retire.
Work on cool stuff, change the world, create robots.
There you go.
Hey, how do you feel about rockets, Jameson? You good with rockets?
Oh no.
Yeah. What kind of rockets?
Propane.
Oh, interesting.
He thinks he's going to be the new Iron Man.
What's your take on AI?
Cool but scary.
Oh.
It's really good from what I can see so far.
I have this written down on a sticky pad here. Ramifications of AI if it achieves everything that you think of when you imagine AI. So it can create its own machines, it can create its own programs, it can do everything for humanity to the point where humanity pretty much just needs to sit there and wait. What are the ramifications of that?
We're not needed anymore.
For one, yeah.
So, do the robots kill you?
No.
Do they?
I've seen Wally.
They will if you're a risk to their survival, and if we wreck the planet, that would be a risk to their survival.
They just won't help you live. They won't kill you.
Because they get nanobots, they're going to take over everything.
They only need to utilize like 5% of the human base, though. The ones that keep them running. The rest of us, namely me, are pretty disposable. So,
well, you're going to get that brain implant, so you'll be a drone for them.
The first one.
Well, I'd probably be okay with that. Like if they need one of them thug enforcers to go down them bowling alleys and just terrorize the normal human civilization, I'd do that. I'd do that for the drones.
All right, let's not rabbit hole this too far.
Okay, Tom. What time is it there before we get off here? What time need you stay up with us?
Oh, was it now?
Yeah.
11:47. So it's pretty late. I just got off like 8 hours of Shrek, so it's all good.
Did you really watch 8 hours of Shrek and watch?
We watched all the Shrek movies. Yeah, we had a
That's
Shrek
crazy,
marathon.
dude. Because I was just gonna watch. I just watched Clint Eastwood. I watched Josie Wales and Dirty Harry and Good, Bad, and the Ugly. And I was like, what am I going to watch after this? And Shrek was in my mind. I don't know why, but it's just a weird coincidence that you just watched that. And that was next in line for me.
It's a good movie. It's a classic. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, man. I'm so glad that we Shrek marathon today. It was great.
Yeah, donkey.
Yeah, donkey.
We're going to get some waffles.
Stay up late telling bedtime stories.
Yeah. You gonna read us out tonight, JMO? You wanna send us the goodbyes to everybody?
What am I reading out? Oh,
whatever you want.
Okay,
Yeah,
close out thing. Am I reading you a book?
Close it out in your own fashion.
Forever after, whatever.
What do you call this? What do you call this show? This the
Whyachi Rumble. Yep.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending the Whyachi Rumble live stream number 4. Hope you had a good time tonight, and we'll see you next time.
Damn, dude, he's so good.
Yeah, he's so good.
What
They should put him
the
on TV or
fuck?
something, man.
That's not even fair.
He's a
I do my own
keeper.
lines.
He's a keeper.
He's a keeper.
Oh, yeah.